Yeah. So it is Sunday. It's 8:15. We started 15 minutes later than we usually do today because I wanted the wife to be home and relaxed. And I ended up being up all night watching news and reading. I've been reading my ass off the last 3 days, all night, and then I go to bed at like 10 in the morning, and then wake up when she's about to get home so we can just repeat the process. Read. Like, I can't stress that enough. We're going to continue with Isaiah tonight. This is going to be the fourth installment of Isaiah. Um, Last time we only got through like 6 chapters, and I mean, with good reason, four or six, whatever it was, with good reason. I mean, I really want to unpack this book with you. I really want you to understand this book. But last time something cool happened, so we've got a little bit to discuss. We have a little bit to discuss before we get into this, and we are going to pick up where we left off. We're going to redo actually Isaiah 30 today, and the reason is, and we've been doing this with every Isaiah video, but something unique happened between the last one and this one, and that's Thursday. This past Thursday when we did Isaiah number 3, we talked about Isaiah chapter 30, verse 7, which is about this bullshit treaty between Egypt and Israel. And I showed you in the last one how back in October 19th, 2021, Egypt and Israel went to deepen ties together, and about, their whole not wanting to be destroyed for the third time, and all these different things, and how that once shit hit the fan, Egypt was going to be useless to Israel. And so that we discussed that on August 4th. Okay, Thursday the 4th. It was Thursday. It was Thursday night. Friday, Israel struck Gaza. In an isolated, they meant to take out this uh, Palestinian jihad leader, and they did, but they killed a child, they killed some other people, and then Palestine obviously retaliated, and then Egypt stepped in on Friday. This happened. So we talked about it Thursday. It happened on Friday, right? And so the process is still continuing. They're still trading shots. Israel fired again. There's been like over 360 rockets fired at Israel. Obviously, most of them don't get in because of the Iron Dome. And I'm not saying that this is going to be the one where everything just explodes and they're fucked. But I'm saying that I'm showing you in the book how it lines up to today, right? I was able to tell you before it happened what's going to happen, and I've logged everything by date. I've been talking about this for 3 years. I mean, at the end of the day, you can go all the way back. You can go way back before the war last year between Iran and Palestine, or Israel and Palestine. But this time it's unique because the minute that it happened, Israel stepped in, and I have the video up here to show that Egypt stepped in, and I have the video up here to show that Egypt has been useless. And now today we find out that Israel's willing to submit to terms of a ceasefire, but at the end of the day, I don't know how that's going to play out. I don't think it's going to. I really don't. I think and the reason is 2 weeks ago Russia met with Turkey and Iran. He's deepening ties with Iran, right? Putin's, and then he's in Syria also. He told Israel to stop firing near Damascus, stop firing in Syria altogether. And Russia's also got a problem with one of Israel's companies stealing information. So I mean, there's a lot going on there. The Middle East is a ticking time bomb, but it's everything is lining up for exactly what I've been telling you for the last 2 years. Everything is lining up for what I've been telling you for the last 2 years was going to happen. Thursday, I told you what would happen. Friday, it fucking happened, and that's how this works. And Egypt is going to be useless when it comes to Israel. Egypt is going to be useless. There's no point in them having ties. They should have never had ties together to begin with, right? Israel's not supposed to do that, and they do, and that's why they'll be getting destroyed for the third time, and it's absolutely going to happen. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Um, the process of it, though, the Bible talks about it like travail upon a woman. So it very well could blow tomorrow, right? And I don't know, man. I don't know. I know that it's in an instant. I know that's what the Bible talks about. It's just going to be boom, off guard. They're just going to get rocked, and it's going to be that. It's just going to be that way because the Bible says it's gonna. The Bible doesn't lie. So because they're not, you got real Jews and you got fake Jews. You got the ones that still sin and the ones that can't. That's it. So we talked about it Thursday. It happened Friday. I put up the 2 videos. If you write down the dates as you're watching it, it'll leave you confused. How does that work? You want to listen to the prophet that knows the shit before it comes. That's the one you listen to. True shit. Fucking Jeremiah said so. Jeremiah said so. So we're gonna start with Isaiah chapter 30, and we're gonna move forward through it and kind of go over things as we go. I do intend on getting much further than we did last time. I just thought you guys would all get a kick out of that. You can literally go back to Thursday, watch us talk about and discuss something that happens Friday. That's fucking cool. That's really cool. Like, that's what this book can do. If you read it and learn it and you know what the hell's going on around you, then you'll be able to see what's coming. And the people that aren't actual believers, they can't do that. They can't do that. They can't tell you what's going to happen. They'll keep telling you everything's going to be okay. It's not going to be okay. Nothing's going to be okay. We are the bearers of bad news. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I sure the fuck love it today. Absolutely. So, to kick us off, as usual, and I got to wait for it to come back around, the verse going across the bottom of the screen. This is what it is, man. Jesus doesn't lie. Jesus said this. This is his words. John 8:34. It's literally scripture. Jesus answered them, "Verily, verily, I say unto you, whosoever committeth sin is the servant of sin." Whoever commits sin is the servant of sin. If you still sin at all, even just a little bit, if you think sin exists at all, then that's what you serve. If you don't line up with the book, Isaiah chapter 8, verse 20 says, if they speak not according to the law of this testimony, it is because there's no light in them. That's, it just is what it is. So it's what we're doing, man. Whoever sins is the servant of sin. There's no getting, there's only one way out of that. So let me pull this up here. Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children. Here's the ones that still sin. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. That they may add sin to sin. Anybody that still sins, you're the rebellious child it's talking about, which is considered technically flesh Jew. But this is to Israel. It's all about Israel. So it's to the flesh Jews, all the people that say they're Jews, but they still sin, right? They're not real Jews. So, but it's talking about them. It's talking about Israel. That walk down into Egypt. This is when they made those ties with Egypt. What you see playing out in the news today. That walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. Now that's why I'm saying this plays into today. We talked about this Thursday. It's going to be their confusion. And Israel's willing to listen to Egypt now, but they're about to be really confused because no matter what Egypt does, Egypt is going to have no effect. I think PIJ already hooked up with Iran, and I know Iran's probably got the okay from Russia from a couple of weeks ago. Israel's surrounded. They're fucked. Verse 4. For his princes were at Zoan, and his ambassadors came to Hanes. They were all ashamed of a people that could not profit them, nor can be a help nor profit, but a shame and also a reproach. The burden of the beast of the south into the land of trouble and anguish, from whence come the young and old lion, the viper and the fiery flying serpent. They will carry their riches upon the shoulders of young asses, and their treasures upon the bunches of camels, to a people that shall not profit them. Egypt is not going to profit Israel. And like I said, you might see this die down. You may very well see all this shit die down. Might not happen until next year. Doesn't matter. But Israel's going to get fucking blindsided. And Egypt's not going to be able to do shit. They're not doing shit now, really. For the Egyptians shall help in vain and to no purpose. Therefore have I cried concerning this. Their strength is to sit still. We talked about this on Thursday and then on Friday. I literally have the news clips from the dates and the links to the videos. You can't make this shit up. Now go write it before them in a table and note it in a book. What book? This book. Note it in a book that it may be for the time to come, forever and ever. That this is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord. Why? How do you know they won't hear the law of the Lord? Because they just add sin to sin. They just add sin to sin. Sin, repent, repeat. Sin, repent, repeat. Sin, repent, repeat. Sin, repent, repeat. And then they claim to be the chosen of God. And they are not. Which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits. Right? That's what Jude would rather hear. Jude would rather I preach lies than to tell him the truth. Won't accept it. Flat refuses. On every level, flat refuses. Verse 11, get you out of the way. Turn aside out of the path. Cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. They don't want Jesus. They don't want Jesus over there. They don't believe in Jesus. They don't like Jesus. Fake Jews, man, they hate him. Wherefore, thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because you despise this word and trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon. Therefore, this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly and at an instant. It's very important. Suddenly and at an instant. This very well could be the beginning of it. And I'm going to tell you point blank. Like, it's definitely, like I told you last year when they did the 11-day war with Hamas and the PIJ, when they did that last year, that was the beginning. That's when all this shit. Verse 14. And he shall break it as the breaking of the potter's vessel that is broken in pieces. He shall not spare, so that there shall not be found in the bursting of it a shard to take fire from the hearth, or to take water withal out of the pit. He's going to break them. There's going to be nothing left. For thus saith the Lord God, the Holy One of Israel, in returning and rest shall you be saved. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength, and you would not. Ooh, you know it's a good one to tie this? We did this last time. I'm not doing all the ties that I did in this chapter last time because we did it last time. And the people that are watching this in a series, I'm not trying to, make you take any longer than I have to for you to understand this. But if I can sit here and go through all these, there's no excuse on why you can't. Matthew 23 right here. And you would not. Now, I talk about this all the time, how to tell. Savannah, can you find TT? I talk about this all the time, how to tell it's the same author as you're reading through the Bibles. This would be one of those things. As you're reading through the Bible, you could see, like, it's this. I think it's called stenography, is like the study of handwriting. And so, like, if you read a Dean Koontz novel, right? We'll say Dean Koontz. No, we'll use a better known author, Stephen King, right? If you read Stephen King's books, if you read 3 or 4 of them under Stephen King, and then you read, well, I forgot what his pen name is, the other name that he'll author under, right? And you read one of those, you'll be able to tell that it's Stephen King still by the style of his pen, I don't want to say penmanship, but I want to say like the way they write. That's like the way they talk, like it's like an accent specific to them. This is one of those things. So He said, Matthew 23:37, O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets and stonest them which are sent unto thee, how often would I have gathered thy children together, even as a hen gathereth her chickens under her wings, and you would not. Now that came out of Jesus's mouth. If you're in a Bible right now, if you're in a King James, a red letter, right, which puts all Jesus's physical actual words in red, that's red letters, right? That's how you know he authored this right there. Boom. For thus saith the Lord God, the Holy One of Israel. It's Jesus. In returning and rest you shall be saved. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength, and you would not. So Isaiah 30 verse 15 to Matthew 23:37. It's literally, they're the same verses. They really are. Oh, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets and stonest them which are sent unto you. How often would I have gathered thy children together? Look at, he said, in returning and rest shall you be saved. Even as a hen gathereth her chickens under her wings, and you would not. And returning and rest you should be saved. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength, and you would not. It's literally the same thing. Verse 16. But you said, no, for we will flee upon horses, therefore shall you flee. And we will ride upon the swift, therefore shall they that pursue you be swift. 1,000 shall flee at the rebuke of one. At the rebuke of 5 shall you flee, till you be left as a beacon upon the top of a mountain, and as an ensign on a hill. And therefore will the Lord wait, that he may be gracious unto you. And therefore will he be exalted, that he may have mercy upon you. For the Lord is the God of judgment. Blessed are all they that wait for him, that actually take the time. Verse 19. For the people shall dwell in Zion at Jerusalem. Thou shalt weep no more. He will be very gracious unto thee at the voice of thy cry. When he shall hear it, he will answer thee. When he shall hear it, he will answer. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thine eyes shall see the teachers. Now here's a key here. It's key to understanding this here. When he shall hear it, he will answer thee. He will be very gracious unto thee at the voice of thy cry. So these are people that have to return to him. They have to return to him. You have to turn to Jesus. If you don't turn to Jesus, you're still adding sin to sin. If you don't turn to the Holy One of Israel, you're still adding sin to sin. So if you don't turn to him, if you don't cry to him, he's never going to hear your cry, because God doesn't hear sinners. John 9:31 and Proverbs. Oh man, I'd have to look up. John 9:31. Proverbs 15:29 too. Proverbs 15:29 is actually a really good one here. Pull it up. Proverbs 15:29. The Lord is far from the wicked, but he heareth the prayer of the righteous, which means he doesn't hear the prayer of the unrighteous. If you still sin, he's not hearing you. If you're not crying out to him, if you won't listen, he's not going to hear you. For the people shall dwell in Zion at Jerusalem. Thou shalt weep no more. He will be very gracious unto thee at the voice of thy cry. When he shall hear it, he will answer thee. So he won't answer you till he hears. That's it. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers. And thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, this is the way, walk ye in it. When you turn to the right hand and when you turn to the left. Doesn't matter. When you do right or whatever, you walk in that way. And thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, this is the way, walk ye in it. When you turn to the right hand and when you turn to the left. There is no right and wrong. You walk in that way no matter what. You shall defile also the covering of thy graven images of silver, and the ornament of thy molten images of gold. Thou shalt cast them away as the menstruous cloth. Thou shalt say unto it, get thee hence. Get rid of all their idols. Then shall he give the rain of thy seed, that thou shalt sow the ground withal, and bread of increase of the earth, and it shall be fat and plenteous. In that day shall thy cattle feed in large pastures. The oxen likewise and the young asses, their ear the ground shall eat clean provender. The oxen likewise and the young asses, the ear the ground shall eat clean provender, which hath been winnowed with the shovel and with the fan. And there shall be upon every high mountain and upon every high hill rivers and streams of waters in the day of the great slaughter, when the towers fall. The great slaughter. It's at Ezekiel 21, man. Moreover, the light of the moon shall be as the light of the sun, and the light of the sun shall be sevenfold as the light of 7 days, in the day that the Lord bindeth up the breach of his people and healeth the stroke of their wound. Behold, the name of the Lord cometh from far, burning with his anger, and the burden thereof is heavy. His lips are full of indignation, and his tongue is a devouring fire, and his breath as an overflowing stream shall reach to the midst of the neck, to sift the nations with the sieve of vanity. And there shall be a bridle in the jaws of the people, causing them to error. Like a bridle in a horse's mouth. That bridle's fucking sin, causes them to error. And they choose that bridle and that slavery and to add sin unto sin instead of listening and turning to their God. Oh, it's fucking. And his breath as an overflowing stream shall reach unto the midst of the neck, to sift the nations with the sieve of vanity. It is too, man. It really is. You shall have a song as in the night when a holy solemnity is kept, and gladness of heart, as when one goeth with a pipe to come into the mountain of the Lord, to the mighty one of Israel. And the Lord shall cause his glorious voice to be heard, and shall show the lighting down of his arm, with the indignation of his anger, and with the flame of a devouring fire, with scattering and tempest and hailstones. Now, watch for those. Definitely watch for those. For though the voice of the Lord shall the Assyrian be, for through the voice of the Lord shall the Assyrian be beaten down, which smote with a rod, and in every place where the grounded staff shall pass, which the Lord shall lay upon him, it shall be with tabrets and harps, and in battles of shaking will he fight with it. For Tophet is ordained of old, yea, for the king it is prepared. He hath made it deep and large. The pile thereof is fire and much wood. The breath of the Lord, like a stream of brimstone, doth kindle it. The breath of the Lord, man, preaching the word, kindles that fire. Which is, yeah. All right. Isaiah 31. Woe to, oh, wow. It just adds insult to injury. Here we go. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horses, and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. Yet he also is wise, and will bring evil, and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of the evildoers, and against the help of them that work iniquity. Boom! He will not call back his words. Egypt's going to be useless for Israel. I'm telling you guys. Now the Egyptians are men and not God, and their horse is flesh and not spirit. When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they all shall fail together. Mark these fucking words, man. Mark these fucking words. For thus hath the Lord spoken unto me. Like as the lion and the young lion roaring on his prey, when a multitude of shepherds is called forth against him, he will not be afraid of their voice, nor abase himself in the noise of them. So shall the Lord of hosts come down to fight for Mount Zion and for the hill thereof. As birds flying, so will the Lord of hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending also, he will deliver it, and passing over, he will preserve it. But you need to understand what he's talking about. He's not talking about for the fake flesh Jews. He's talking about there, when he's talking about preserving it, he's talking about for these guys, the real Israel, the 144,000. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written in their foreheads. And these are the same 144,000 from Revelation 7, which he calls them the real Jews, right here. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. Trumpet! Trump! Bad dog. Lay down. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and they were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. That's it. It's 144,000 of the tribe of Judah, Reuben, Gad, Asher, Naphtali, Manasseh, Simeon, Levi, Issachar, Zebulun, Joseph, Benjamin. And we'll get into, later on when we do Revelation, we'll get into why, like, Reuben is not there. As birds flying, so will the Lord of hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending also, he will deliver it. That's those 144,000. They come, the fake Jews get wrecked out, and the 144,000 get put in. And passing over, he will preserve it. And that's right here. He will deliver it. Turn ye unto him from whom the children of Israel have deeply revolted. See that? So this is how you see that sometimes it's hard to see what, I don't want to say what he's talking about because it just means what it says. But sometimes the understanding is hard because you've got to know that there's two kinds of Jews, the fake kind that still add sin to sin, and the real kind who accepted Christ as their Messiah, that can't sin, that did return to him, that did cry out to him, that are saved, that are set to be redeemed, that are sealed. So he says, turn ye unto him from whom the children of Israel have deeply revolted. Turn unto him. Who is that? Jesus. Because that's who the children of Israel have deeply revolted against. That's who they've revolted against. That's who the flesh Jews have gone against. They've gone against Jesus. They fucking crucified him. For in that day, every man shall cast away his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which your own hands have made unto you for a sin. All them fucking crosses you got on your walls, all the fucking bumper stickers on your car, and all the bullshit, fucking Buddhas and just garbage ass idolatry statues. You put out your fucking, you think that's Jesus, Mary, and Joseph in that nativity that you're putting out every heathen day, every year. That's Nimrod, Ishtar, and Horus. It's not even plastic and wood and metal, and people think that somehow helps them, that somehow makes them something. Ugh. Turn ye unto him from whom the children of Israel have deeply revolted. For in that day every man shall cast away his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which your own hands have made unto you for a sin. And you may not think that you hanging that thing on your wall counts against you, but for an unbeliever who still sins, even all the good they do is shit too. He counts that to be shit too. Actually, you know what? Just for giggles, Isaiah 31:7. They do go fucking hand in hand. They really do. To Titus 1:16, they profess that they know God, right? Just like those flesh Jews, they profess that they know God, but in works they deny him. They call it sin. They call everything they do, they call it sin. In works. It doesn't say good works, it doesn't say bad works, it doesn't say any of that. It just says in works they deny him. Doesn't matter what it is. If you call it sin, you're denying that he reconciled it. You're denying that Christ got on that cross and paid for it. You're denying that he made you perfect. You're denying Jesus. You're denying what God did. So they profess that they know God. They say they do. But in works, they deny him. They call it sin, right? And that's what it is. because unto the pure all things are pure. Right up here. But they profess that they know God, but in works they deny him, being abominable and disobedient, and unto every good work, they're what? Reprobate. So even all the good they do is counted as shit. So, I mean, it's either you count all your shit as good and pure and perfect because Jesus reconciled it, or you still think you sin, and then all your good is shit too. So, and this is why I would show you this right here. For in that day, every man shall cast away his idols of silver and his idols of gold. They're going to cast away their religion. When they see this shit all go down, they're going to be like, fuck this. I'm not this religion. What? They're going to feel stupid as fuck. And here, I got a really good verse for this. It's up on the board. I got to find it. All religion's garbage. Psalm 96:5. Okay, all religion's garbage. Psalm 96:5. Let me pull it up. I want to show you this. So, everybody, we got into this discussion a while back. I don't know if it was the last show or the one before that about. I think it was in the sin nature one, the last one we did, Psalm 96:5, and we got into the discussion of denominations. Right, every denomination is just a different. They're all worshiping different gods. It doesn't matter what they call themselves. They can say they're Christian. They can say they're this. They can say they're Jew. They can say they're Muslim. They can say they're Buddhist. They can say whatever they want to say, but all different. If you still sin, you're of the devil. I mean, it doesn't fucking matter, but just to show you right here, for all the gods of the nations are idols, but the Lord made the heavens. All the gods of the nations are idols. All the different religions, all the different denominations, all the different sects, all the different whatever, if it doesn't line up with the book, then it doesn't line up. It's of the devil. If it doesn't speak according to the law and to the testimony, then there's no light in it. I'm going to show you that verse too. I know I'm spending a lot on this verse. I really am, because it's important, it's important to understand these things. 8:20, right here, Isaiah 8:20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there's no light in them. If they don't line up with the book, it's because there's no light in them. If they refuse to line up with the book, it's because there's no light in them. They might seem like they have it for a year or two or whatever, but at the end of the day, if they're not of us. So Isaiah 31 verse 6, turn ye unto him from whom the children of Israel have deeply revolted. For in that day, so when all this shit goes down, every man shall cast away his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which your own hands have made unto you for a sin. So you may not think that your religion is going to count against you. You might think that your religion, you might think you have it, but at the end of the day, if you still sin, it's going to count against you. Then shall the Assyrian fall with the sword, not of a mighty man, and the sword, not of a mean man. Oh, I like this. I forgot about this verse. Then shall the Assyrian fall with the sword, not of a mighty man, and the sword, not of a mean man, shall devour him. The sword shall devour him. But he shall flee from the sword, and his young men shall be discomfited. And he shall pass over to his stronghold for fear, and his princes shall be afraid of the ensign, saith the Lord, whose fire is in Zion, and his furnace in Jerusalem. Holy shit. Okay, so I didn't catch this the last time I went through it. And his furnace is in Jerusalem. So everybody, I'm going to give you a bit of a history breakdown here. Israel, 1947, they became a nation again. The wound was healed. Hint, hint. Where am I going? Ezekiel 22. The wound was healed, and you've got three destructions of Israel. The first one was Babylon. The second one was Rome, 70 AD. The third one hasn't happened yet, but I'm going to show you how he set it up so that it could happen, and how Ezekiel 22 is, and Ezekiel 21, really, Ezekiel 21 and 22 are going to go with Isaiah 30 and 31. But I'm going to show you, so I want you to remember this. And he shall pass over to his stronghold for fear, and his princes shall be afraid of the ensign, saith the Lord, whose fire is in Zion, and his what? Furnace is in Jerusalem. Let me show you who's going into the furnace. Watch this shit, man. Here we go. Ezekiel 22. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Now, thou son of man, wilt thou judge? Wilt thou judge the bloody city? Yea, thou shalt show her all her abominations. See that bloody city, that's Jerusalem. Then say thou, Thus saith the Lord God, the city sheddeth blood in the midst of it, that her time may come, and maketh idols against herself, to defile herself. Thou art become guilty in the blood that thou hast shed, and hast defiled thyself in thine idols which thou hast made, and thou hast caused thy days to draw near, and art come even unto thy years, and they are the right fucking there. They've never made it past the 8th decade. They've never gone more than 80 years. Ever. Therefore have I made thee a reproach unto the heathen, and a mocking to all countries. May not seem like it now, but it's coming. Those that be near and those that be far from thee shall mock thee, which are infamous and much vexed. And are they not? Are they not infamous? Does not the whole world know who Israel is? Are they not much vexed? They can't even pray at their own fucking Temple Mount. They've got Palestinians inside. It's a constant war. Behold, the princes of Israel, every one were in thee to their power to shed blood. In thee have they set light by father and mother. In the midst of thee have they dealt by oppression with the stranger. In thee have they vexed the fatherless and the widow. Thou hast despised mine holy things, and hast profaned my Sabbaths. In thee are men that carry tales to shed blood, and in thee they eat upon the mountains, and in the midst of thee they commit lewdness. Check it out. Look at this. Are men that carry tales to shed blood. What did they just fucking do? Spin a big story just to shed blood. And then they're like, oh, yeah, it's because the rockets they fired landed in Gaza, which some did, but still, Israel's spinning tales to shed blood. And in thee they eat upon the mountains. In the midst of thee they commit lewdness. In thee have they discovered their father's nakedness. Here's that shame. That shame for being naked, right? Going back to that original, they ate the fruit and the first thing they did was feel ashamed, right? In thee have they discovered their father's nakedness. In thee have they humbled her that was set apart for pollution. And one hath committed abomination with his neighbor's wife, and another hath lewdly defiled his daughter-in-law, and another in thee hath humbled his sister, his father's daughter. In thee have they taken gifts to shed blood. Thou hast taken usury and increase, and thou hast greedily gained of thy neighbors by extortion, and hast forgotten me, saith the Lord God. Have they not? They just keep adding sin to sin to sin. They've forgotten. They're trying to forget. They wish they could forget that what they did to Jesus. Behold, therefore have I smitten my hand at thy dishonest gain which thou hast made, and at thy blood which hath been in the midst of thee. Can thine heart endure, or can thine hands be strong in the days that I shall deal with thee? Look at that. Can thine heart endure, or can thine hands be strong in the days that I shall deal with thee? I, the Lord, have spoken it and will do it. And I will scatter thee among the heathen, and disperse thee into countries, and will consume thy filthiness out of thee. And thou shalt take thine inheritance in thyself in the sight of the heathen, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Now here we go. So this, remember, we talked about 1947 and then coming back. I'm just showing you how that relates to, how it all relates to today. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, the house of Israel is to me become dross. All they are brass and tin and iron and lead in the midst of the furnace. They are even the dross of silver. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, because you are all become dross. Behold, therefore, I will gather you into the midst of Jerusalem. What did he do? He brought them all back after Rome destroyed them. He brought them all back in 1947 and set them all up for what's about to happen to them. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, because you are all become dross, because behold, therefore I will gather you into the midst of Jerusalem, as they gather silver and brass, and iron and lead, and tin into the midst of the furnace, to blow the fire upon it, to melt it. So will I gather you in mine anger and in my fury, and I will leave you there and melt you. Isaiah 31:9. Right there. Right here. You just Ezekiel 22:17 through 21. Or 22. Ezekiel 22:22, actually. Right here, look at it. Said, yea, I will gather you and blow upon you in the fire of my wrath, and you shall be melted in the midst of the furnace. As silver is melted in the midst of the furnace, so shall you be melted in the midst thereof, and you shall know that I, the Lord, have poured out my fury upon you. That's what's coming for them. Egypt will be of no help. None. Love you, Jojo. And he shall pass over to his stronghold for fear, and his princes shall be afraid of the ensign, saith the Lord, whose fire is in Zion, and his furnace in Jerusalem. He's setting them up. They earned it. He's going to award them double for their sin. And you see that in Ezekiel 21. Oh, yeah, I didn't want to leave this out. Ezekiel 21:14. Right here. Thou therefore, son of man, prophesy, and smite thy hands together, and let the sword be doubled the third time, the sword of the slain. It is the sword of great men that are slain, which entereth into their privy chambers. Right here. Let the sword be doubled the third time. That'll be the third destruction, and that's what's right around the corner. It might take time. Like, I'm not saying, oh, any set date. I'm just saying that as we read this, we're watching it come to pass. We're reading it, discussing it. I'm telling you it's going to happen, and then it does. And it's going to happen. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no doubt, not a single doubt in my mind whatsoever. I know for a fact his word is good. He spoke it. He will not go back on it. He even said so in Isaiah 32. Where is it? Oh, no, we didn't start 32 yet. Isaiah 31, I thought. Right? 31 verse 2 or 3. No. 2. No. 30 maybe. Either way. Or maybe it was Ezekiel 22. I don't know. Whatever. So, Isaiah 32. Not sure who you're calling, but a heads up. Oh, okay. Yeah, headphones. All right. Isaiah 32. Behold, a king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment. This is what he's talking about here. This is what's neat. Princes shall rule in judgment. If you go to Revelation chapter 3, we got Isaiah 32:1. Just going to show you at least, there's so many, it just doesn't matter. So many verses that go through my head for every other verse. Revelation chapter 3, verse 21. To him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne. It's the overcomer, the one that overcomes sin, that overcomes the world by the works of Christ. It's beautiful. To him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame and am set down with my Father in his throne. So the overcomer gets to sit in the throne. The overcomer gets to rule with a rod of iron, right? There's 144,000 of these overcomers. Right here. 2. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. And then the big one here, the one I want you to tie to this, Isaiah 32, verse 1, is going to be Revelation 20, maybe. Verse 4, yeah. Revelation 20, verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. So that's the 144,000. That's the overcomers, the princes, the kings, right? And then there's a separate bunch of people here. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus and for the word of God, which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. There's two kinds of people here. There's the thrones and the ones that sit upon them, and judgment is given unto them. You see in 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 2, that this is the believers, the real ones. And anybody that knows, that's been following this channel any kind of time, that's put in any kind of work, then you would know the 144,000 are the real believers. See right here, you see 1 Corinthians 6, 2. Do you not know that the saints shall judge the world? And if the world shall be judged by you, are you unworthy to judge the smallest matters? Right? So the saints should judge the world. Those are the overcomers. Those are the ones that sit in the throne with him. Those are the ones that rule with a rod of iron. And then the ones that get beheaded are the ones that get left behind. These are all these people who are trying to keep the law and they still steady fail. They call themselves Christians. They call themselves whatever. It doesn't matter what they call themselves. They say they believe in God. Like the flesh Jews say they believe in God. Christians say they believe in Jesus. They're all trying to keep that law subconsciously, and all they do is fail. So they get left behind. The flesh Jews do get it worse than everybody else, though. They really do. They get double. But that's even with that. I mean, you can go in Revelation 18. He's just going to include everybody into that. Everybody that sins is going to take part in that. He shows you here in Revelation 18:4. He says, "And I heard another voice from heaven saying, 'Come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you.'" And then here's how you know it's Israel. "And double unto her, double according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled to her, double." He said it 3 times to represent the 3 destructions of Israel. He does this all the time. It's in Isaiah. I think we should be covering one of those. Either way, he does it in Ezekiel 21. He said, "I will." Let me show you. He does this to represent the three destructions. So I'll show you in Ezekiel 21 where he does it in reference to Israel, just to show you. But there's verse 4 where he says, "Come out of her, my people, that you be not partaker of her sins." It's so that you don't add sin to sin anymore. Hang on, right down here. I'm just gonna find it. Right here. He does it down here. "I will overturn it, and it shall be no more until he come whose right it is, and I will give it him." And that's the overcomer. That's the body of Christ. And that's what that is. I mean, they're the overcomers are the ones that get the land of Israel. Israel's about to get fucking rocked. And that's just for this. Just one fucking verse, man. "Behold, a king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment." That's what's coming. "And a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, and as a shadow of a great rock in a weary land. And the eyes of them that see shall not be dim, and the ears of them that hear shall hearken." I love this. That's how you know, man. "The heart also of the rash shall understand knowledge, and the tongue of the stammerer shall be ready to speak plainly. The vile person shall no more be called liberal." The vile person shall be no more called liberal, nor the churl said to be bountiful. I like this verse because if you really want to get into politics, I mean, I don't judge anybody for anything. I know Jesus made everybody perfect, but the vilest shit comes out of them liberals, man. Whatever. I don't judge. Jesus reconciled all things, but it's just seeing it in scripture is a different ballgame, you know. "The vile person shall be no more called liberal, nor the churl said to be bountiful. For the vile person will speak villainy, and his heart will work iniquity." Everybody that sins, "to practice" what? "Hypocrisy, and to utter error against the Lord." To utter error, to say you sin. Because every time you sin, you're turning your back against God. "For the vile person will speak villainy, and his heart will work iniquity, to practice hypocrisy, and to utter error against the Lord." to make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. All the people that still sin, all these heathen pastors and priests and all these people causing you to error, they're going to receive of Israel's plagues, man. The instruments also of the churl are evil. He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh right. I wonder what a churl is. I've never looked up the definition of churl. I just thought it was a funny word and I left it at that. Maybe I did years ago. I don't know. Find out. Okay. A miserly person. There's a new word for me too. Seoral. Rude, boorish person. Makes sense. So the instruments also of the churl are evil. He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh right. Oof. But the liberal deviseth liberal things, and by liberal things shall he stand. Oof. Rise up, you women that are at ease. Hear my voice, you careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall you be troubled, you careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. Tremble, you women that are at ease. Be troubled, you careless ones. Strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. And what's real unique here, and he's not talking to fucking women with vaginas. He's talking to all these different fucking denominations of so-called church, right? They call themselves part of the church, but they're not his bride. They're the unwise virgins. See, can you empty this? So, oh, yeah, they're the unwise virgins, and that's who he's referring to. Doesn't matter what what your gender is. There's neither male nor female. What do we got here? Doo-doo. Tremble, you women that are at ease. Be troubled, you careless ones. Strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. They shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine. Upon the land of my people shall come up thorns and briars, yea, upon all the houses of joy in the joyous city. Notice this right here, Hebrews 6:8, right? Thorns and briars, sin, adding sin to sin, sin. Sin, repent, repeat. Sin, repent, repeat. Sin, repent, repeat. Not lining up with the book. Not giving a fuck what God said. All your different kinds of fucking ways of being heathen. Hebrews chapter 6, verse 8. But that which beareth thorns and briars is rejected, and is near unto cursing, whose end is to be burned. To Isaiah 32:13. And upon the land of my people, right? We know that he's talking about Israel, shall come up thorns and briars, which is all that is there now, right? He brought them in there to burn them like a furnace. Upon the land of my people shall come up thorns and briars, yea, upon all the houses of the joy in the joyous city, because the palaces shall be forsaken, and the multitude of the city shall be left, and the forts and the towers shall be for dens forever, a joy of wild asses, a pasture of flocks. This is where he's talking about that 144,000, the sheep. Until the Spirit be poured upon us from on high, and the wilderness be a fruitful field, and the fruitful field be counted for a forest. Then judgment shall dwell in the wilderness, and righteousness remain in the fruitful field. So he's talking about the return, the 144,000. And the work of righteousness shall be peace, and the effect of righteousness, quietness, and assurance forever. Assurance. There's a link in the description to a video called Salvation Assurance. Never sin again. That's the assurance that he's talking about having there. And my people shall dwell in a peaceable habitation, and in sure dwellings, and in quiet resting places. When it shall hail, coming down on the forest, and the city shall be in a low place. Blessed are ye that sow beside all waters. Look at this is to the real believers right here. Boom. Blessed are ye that sow beside all waters, that send forth thither to feed of the ox and the ass. It doesn't matter. We preach to everybody. Jesus paid for it all for everybody. Blessed are the ones that sow beside all waters. That's what it is. And you could put this, I like verse 20, to Ecclesiastes 11. A lot. because Ecclesiastes 11 tells you how to get it done. You can't be partial in yourselves. You can't have respect of people. You can't hold it back. You have to tell them the truth. Cast thy bread upon the waters, for thou shalt find it after many days. Give a portion to 7 and also to 8, for thou knowest not what evil shall be upon the earth. If the clouds be full of rain, this is all about preaching. You'll see. I'll show you. So cast thy bread upon the waters, for thou shalt find it after many days. Give a portion to 7 and also to 8, for thou knowest not what evil shall be upon the earth. That's preach it from the rooftops, man, because you guys don't know what's coming. It's so fucking bad. If the clouds be full of rain, they empty themselves upon the earth. And if the tree falleth toward the south or toward the north, in the place where the tree falleth, there it shall be. He that observeth the wind shall not sow, and he that regardeth the clouds shall not reap. If you look at somebody and go, oh, they're not going to listen, or they're going to do this, or they're going to do that, then you're not going to do your fucking job. Quit with the fucking excuses and the bullshit and do your fucking job. As thou knowest not what is the way of the Spirit, nor how the bones do grow in the womb of her that is with child, even so thou knowest not the works of God who maketh all. You never know what he's going to do. Preach it. Blessed are ye that sow beside all waters, that send forth thither the feet of the ox and the ass. Isaiah 33. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled, and when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. O Lord, be gracious unto us. We have waited for thee. Be thou their arm in every morning, our salvation also in when? The time of trouble. Be thou their arm every morning, our salvation also in the time of trouble. Be thou their arm every morning, our salvation also in the time of trouble. At the noise of the tumult, the people fled. At the lifting up of thyself, the nations were scattered. And your spoil shall be gathered like the gathering of the caterpillar. As the running to and fro of locusts shall he run upon them. The Lord is exalted, for he dwelleth on high. He hath filled Zion with judgment and righteousness. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. Behold, their valiant ones shall cry without. The ambassadors of peace, the ambassadors of peace shall weep bitterly. All the people preaching peace, they think they're going to be at peace, right? They're talking about it now, talking about having a ceasefire. This is going to be fucking epic. The highways lie waste. The wayfaring man ceaseth. He hath broken the covenant. He hath despised the cities. He regardeth no man. Look at that. Oh, I love that. True that, man. It's talking about God, right? We know this. The Lord is exalted, right there. For he dwelleth on high. He hath filled Zion with judgment and righteousness, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. Behold, their valiant ones shall cry without. The ambassadors of peace shall weep bitterly. The highways lie waste. The wayfaring men ceaseth. He, being God, hath broken the covenant. He did away with the old one. It's done. There is no sin. He hath despised the cities. He regardeth no man. Isaiah 33:8. This wouldn't be a real Bible study if we didn't tie this verse. Isaiah 33:8 to Romans 2:11. He regardeth no man. In fact, going to what I was talking about just a minute ago, there's actually two of them that go to this beautifully. Romans 2:11, right here. For there is no fear, or there is no respect of persons with God. There is no respect of persons with God, right here. He regardeth no man. He doesn't give a fuck what you think, what you have to say, what your opinions are. He only cares what his word says, and if you line up with it or not. And if you choose not to line up with it, then you choose not to line up with it. He regardeth no man. He is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love that you've showed toward his name and towards the saints. That's scripture. He regardeth no man. Romans 2:11. There's no respect of persons with God. And then the next one I would show you for that, right here, is James chapter 2, verse 1. My brethren, have not the faith of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Lord of glory, with respect of persons. You can't have both. You can't have both. You have to tell the truth to everybody. You can't be partial. Some you save with fear, some you save with compassion, but at the end of the day, you can't be partial. It's John 8:34 all the way. There's no getting around it. You have to, that's just what it is. John 8:34. Whoever sins is the servant of sin. Fucking period. Jesus said so. And then, where's this? 2:22. He is not. Hebrews 6:10. He is not unrighteous. If you decide you don't want to line up with the book, okay. Right down here. Like this goes into what we were talking about a week ago. But beloved, we are persuaded better things of you and things that accompany salvation. There's those things that accompany salvation. You got to line up with the book. Though we thus speak, for God is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love, which you have showed toward his name, and that you have ministered to the saints and do minister. That's it. He's not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love. Either you're going to line up with the book or you're not. He regardeth no man. Isaiah 33:8. The highways lie waste. The wayfaring man ceaseth. He hath broken the covenant. He hath despised the cities. He regardeth no man. The earth mourneth and languisheth. Lebanon is ashamed and honed down. Sharon is like a wilderness, and Bashan and Carmel shake off their fruits. Now will I rise, saith the Lord. Now will I be exalted. Now will I lift myself up. You shall conceive chaff. You shall bring forth stubble. Your breath as fire shall devour you. Talking to Israel. And the people shall be as the burnings of lime. As thorns cut up shall they be burned in the fire. Hear ye that are far off what I have done, and you that are near, acknowledge my might. You will when he's done. If you don't now, you will when it's done. The sinners in Zion are afraid. Fearfulness hath surprised the hypocrites. Oh, look at that. Look at that. If you still sin, you're a sinner. Period. The sinners in Zion are afraid. Fearfulness hath surprised the hypocrites. Who among us shall dwell with the devouring fire? Who among us shall dwell with everlasting burnings? He that walketh righteously and speaketh uprightly, he that despiseth the gain of oppressions, that shaketh his hands from the holding of bribes, that stoppeth his ears from the hearing of blood, and shutteth his eyes from seeing evil. I love that last part. This is who will stand. The ones that shut their eyes from seeing evil. There is no good and no evil. He created all things, he reconciled all things. He shall dwell on high, his place of defense. See this, and this is where he's talking about. Like he's talking about he's gonna plow them as a field. I forgot, it's in Micah. He's gonna plow Israel as a field, the fake Jews, right? And then give it to the real ones. Plow. In Micah. I just read it last night, damn it. Micah. I don't know where. Where did I post it at, though? Oh, I posted it on YouTube on one of these Israel videos about what's going on over there. Right here. For the transgression of Jacob is all this, and for the sins of the house of Israel. What is the transgression of Jacob? Is it not Samaria? And what are the high places of Judah? Are they not Jerusalem? Oof. All the graven images, therefore, shall be beaten to pieces, and all the hires thereof shall be burned with fire, and the idols thereof will I lay desolate, for she gathered it to the hire of a harlot, and they shall return to the hire of a harlot. It's all about, oh, he's going to wreck them. For her wound is incurable, For it has come unto Judah, he has come unto the gate of my people, even to Jerusalem. Oh, it's so bad. You guys have no idea. And this is just the beginning of it. But it has to be the beginning of it, because you see Egypt getting involved. It's just bringing everything, boom. So he said, the sinners of Zion are afraid. Fearfulness hath surprised the hypocrites. Who among us? And then he asked the question, right? There's a period here, so this is different. This is someone different. Who among us shall dwell with the devouring fire? Who among us shall dwell with everlasting burnings? He that walketh righteously and speaketh uprightly. That's the perfect. He that despiseth the gain of oppressions, that shaketh his hands from holding of bribes, that stoppeth his ears from the hearing of blood, and shutteth his eyes from seeing evil, he shall dwell on high. His place of defense shall be the munitions of rocks. Bread shall be given him. His waters shall be sure. There's that assurance. Thine eyes shall see the king in his beauty. They shall behold the land that is very far off. See this? Oh, thine heart shall meditate terror. Where is the scribe? Where is the receiver? Where is he that counted the towers? Thou shalt not see a fierce people, a people of deeper speech than thou canst perceive, of a stammering tongue that thou canst not understand. Look upon Zion, the city of our solemnities. Thine eyes shall see Jerusalem, a quiet habitation, a tabernacle that shall not be taken down. That's because he's going to raise it up. He's going to raise up his own, like as in the days of old. Not one of the stakes thereof shall ever be moved, neither shall any of the cords thereof be broken. But there the glorious Lord will be unto us as a place of broad rivers and streams, wherein shall go no galley with oars, neither shall gallant ships pass thereby. For the Lord is our refuge. For who? For the ones that walk uprightly. For these that walk righteously. He's going to give it to them. Oh, I'm so excited. But, yep. But there the glorious Lord will be unto us a place of broad rivers and streams, wherein shall go no galley with oars, neither shall gallant ships pass thereby. For the Lord is our judge, the judge is our lawgiver, and the Lord is our king. He will save us. Thy tacklings are loosed. They could not well strengthen their mast. They could not spread the sail. Then is the prey of the great spoil divided. The lame take the prey. And the inhabitant shall not say, I am sick. The people that dwell therein shall be forgiven their iniquity in full, done over. And it won't be the ones that still sin. Isaiah 34. Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, you people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter. Notice how it's talking about it before it happens. It's talking about it before. It's already done before it ever even happens. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down. And the leaf, as the leaf falleth from the vine, and as the falling fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. Look at that. It shall come upon the people of his what? Curse. Isaiah 34:5. Tie that to, I'm going to show you two places. First, we're going to do Galatians chapter 3, verse 10. Here's the people that are under that curse that are going to get leveled. For as many as are of the works of the law are under the curse. For it is written, cursed is everyone that continueth not in all things which are written in the book of the law to do them. So if you think you like, and it's the whole law, it's the 10 commandments and the 603 ordinances, it's the whole thing is the curse. Even, and I'm going to show you, Galatians 3:10 calls the law the curse, but he calls it the curse in Deuteronomy too. It was a curse. It was meant as a prophecy about what Jesus was going to do for us. It wasn't for you to think, oh, no, I can't drink and I can't smoke and I can't do this and I can't do that. And I can't. It wasn't for that. It was to show you that you need Jesus. That's it. It is literally to convert you. I think that's Psalms 9. Let me see. Psalms 9 or 19. Let's see. Might be 7. Converting this. Psalms 19. It is 19. Psalms 19:7. I knew there was a 9 and a 7 in there. Psalms 19:7. Right here. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. The law of the Lord is perfect. It's only meant to convert you. It's only meant to bring you unto Christ. You see that in Galatians, so he calls it a curse here. But even down in 24 and 25, he shows you right here. Wherefore the law was our schoolmaster to bring us unto Christ, that we might be justified by faith. But after the faith has come, we are no longer under a schoolmaster at all. There is no right and wrong anymore once you have faith. Once you find Jesus, you understand what he did on that cross. There is no more good and evil. There is no more right and wrong. There never was to begin with. The devil deceived Eve to eating off that tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Jesus died so you would trust him that that fruit has no effect on you anymore. He paid for all that. Everything that you thought was wrong that you do is actually not wrong. And we're going to get into that a little bit later here in Isaiah. I just want to touch base on it now. And remember, when we come to it, I think it's Isaiah 42 something. It's probably where we're going to wrap this up tonight. But just to show you that it is a curse. Oh, yeah. Deuteronomy 29:19. Right here. Watch this. So even in Deuteronomy, he tells them point blank, it's not for you. Right here, 29:19. So here, we can even start up here a little bit so you get an idea. He said, lest there should be among you man or woman, 29:18, or family or tribe whose heart turneth away this day from the Lord our God to go and serve the gods of the nations, lest there should be among you a root that beareth gall and wormwood, which is that root of bitterness, Hebrews 12:15, 29:19, and it come to pass when he heareth the words of this curse that he bless himself in his heart, saying, I shall have peace, though I walk in the imagination of my heart, to add drunkenness to thirst. The Lord will not spare him. So if you turn your back to that law, right, and you just think you can keep sinning, the Lord will not spare you. But then the anger of the Lord and his jealousy shall smoke against that man, and all the curses that are written in this book shall lie upon him, and the Lord shall blot out his name from under heaven. Right here, Deuteronomy 28:19. He calls the law himself, he calls it the curse. And the flesh, oh, we can do that. Bad day for them. T-Dap said, what is sin? Go watch Sin Nature. Go watch the video I did called Sin Nature. It gives you the answer and everything. Go the whole 9. I go through the whole thing. So Isaiah 34:5. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. So everybody that's still that still thinks that they're under some law, that sin, repent, repeat, they're done. The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. And the unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness. For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion. For the controversy of Zion, because they still sin. And the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become burning pitch. It shall not be quenched night or day. The smoke thereof shall go up forever, From generation to generation it shall lie waste. None shall pass through it forever and ever. But the cormorant and the bittern shall possess it. The owl also and the raven shall dwell in it. And he that stretch out upon it a line of confusion and the stones of emptiness. They shall call the nobles thereof to the kingdom, but none shall be there. And all her princes shall be nothing. And the thorns shall come up in her palaces, nettles and brambles in the fortresses thereof. And it shall be a habitation of dragons and a court for owls. The wild beasts of the desert shall also meet with the wild beasts of the island. And the satyr shall cry to his fellow, and the screech owl shall rest there and find for herself a place of rest. There shall the great owl make her nest, and lay and hatch, and gather under her shadow. There shall the vultures also be gathered, every one with her mate. Seek you out of the book of the Lord and read. No one of these shall fail. None shall want her mate. For my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them. That spirit gathered his. And he hath cast the lot for them, and his hand hath divided it unto them by line. They shall possess it forever. From generation to generation shall they dwell therein. The ones that know the truth, the righteous. Isn't it in this chapter too? Right up here. Who shall... Where is it? That was in the last chapter. Okay. That was the last chapter. The righteous. Those are the ones that are going to abide. Those are the ones that get it. They get it forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And then to show you here, Deuteronomy, who he's looking for, the mind frame that he's looking for. Remember Jesus said in Matthew 18:3, except you be converted and become as little children, you shall not enter in. Right here. Matthew 18:3. He said, these are Jesus' words, and said, verily I say unto you, except you be converted and become as little children, you shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Period. That as little children, converted and as little children, how does God see a child? I mean, if they're not reborn, it doesn't matter, but the mind frame that he's looking for is Deuteronomy 139. Right here. Moreover, your little ones, which you said should be a prey, and your children, which in that day had what? No knowledge between good and evil. They shall go in thither, and unto them will I give it, and they shall possess it. It's the same thing here. And he has cast the lot for them, and his hand hath divided unto them by line. They shall possess it forever. From generation to generation, they shall dwell therein. The ones with no knowledge of good and evil. The ones that believe in Jesus. The ones that are converted, that have become like little children. But you have to be reborn. So a child born in sin is still a child born in sin. The child's still done. There's no heaven for the children of heathens. If you don't learn the truth to teach your children the truth, then you've cost your children. Sad. It really fucking is sad. Isaiah 35. Isaiah 35 verse 1. The wilderness and the solitary place shall be glad for them, and the desert shall rejoice and blossom as the rose. For who? For the ones that inherit it. For the 144,000. It shall blossom abundantly and rejoice even with joy and singing. The glory of Lebanon shall be given unto it. The excellency of Carmel and Sharon. They shall see the glory of the Lord and the excellency of our God. Strengthen ye the weak hands and confirm the feeble knees. Confirm the feeble knees. Say to them that are of a fearful heart, be strong, fear not. Behold, your God will come with vengeance, even God with a recompense. He will come and save you if you're a believer. If you don't line up with the book, you're done. Then the eyes of the blind shall be opened, and the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped. And this right here, this is kind of neat, and I like that this is here. So he says, say to them that are of a fearful heart, be strong, fear not. Behold, your God will come with vengeance, even God with a recompense. He will come and save you. Then the eyes of the blind shall be opened, and the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped. I want to take a second here and go to 2 Thessalonians So that's salvation, right? The salvation when the 144,000 get taken out of the way. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. This is right here. Watch. 2:22. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. That's that. What do we go over in the beginning of this? The vanity, right? He will judge the world in vanity, or I forgot what it is. Ooh, Isaiah. I do want to find that. The mystery of iniquity. It's completely fucking pointless, but the devil deceived the world, man. Hang on. I'm looking for the specific verse, and I've got good reason. Hang on. So are they that wait for him? So next, sift the nation. There it is, right here. Isaiah 30, verse 28. To sift the nations with the sieve of vanity. That's the verse I was looking for. Okay. So for the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. That's when the 144,000 are removed. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. That's it right here. Then the eyes of the blind shall be opened, and the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped. They'll know. They're going to know. Then shall the lame man leap as a hart, and the tongue of the dumb sing. For in the wilderness shall waters break out, and streams in the desert. And the parched ground shall become a pool, and the thirsty land springs of water. In the habitation of dragons, which each lay, shall be grass with reeds and rushes. And a highway shall be there, and a way. It shall be called the way of holiness. The unclean shall not pass over it, but it shall be for those, the wayfaring men, though fools, shall not err therein. Shall not err. Nope. It's perfection. It's the only way in. No lion shall be there, nor any ravenous beast shall go up thereupon. It shall not be found there, but the redeemed shall walk there. They're going to inherit Israel. And he's going to choose their line for them. He chooses their tribe for them. He gives them a new name written in a white stone. It's fucking awesome. And the ransomed of the Lord shall return and come to Zion with songs and everlasting joy upon their heads. They shall obtain joy and gladness, and sorrow and sighing shall flee away. And the ransomed, the ones that are saved, shall return. Why? Why does it say they shall return? Because they leave. He pulls the 144,000 out of here right before wrath. Then everybody goes through wrath, and then they return. And we return with him. So we go to the marriage supper, and then we come back. And then we get everything. That's what it is. It's right there. And the ransomed of the Lord shall return. And it's only 144,000. That's it. If you don't line up with the book, you don't line up. If you still sin, you don't line up. If you still sin, you serve the devil. And the ransom of the Lord shall return and come to Zion with songs and everlasting joy upon their heads. They shall obtain joy and gladness, and sorrow and sighing shall flee away. Isaiah 36. Now it came to pass in the 14th year of King Hezekiah that Sennacherib, king of Assyria, came up against all the defense cities of Judah and took them. And the king of Assyria sent to Rabshakeh from Lachish to Jerusalem unto King Hezekiah with a great army. And he stood by the conduit of the upper pool in the highway of the fuller's field. Then came forth unto him Eliakim, Hilkiah's son, which was over the house, and Shebna the scribe, and Joah, Asaph's son, the recorder. And Rabshakeh said unto them, Say ye now to Hezekiah, Thus saith the great king, the king of Assyria, What confidence is this wherein thou trustest? I say, sayest thou, but they are but vain words. I have counsel and strength for war. Now on whom dost thou trust, thou that rebellest against me? So you've got Rabshakeh coming to speak on behalf of Sennacherib. Yeah. So Rabshakeh is speaking on behalf of Sennacherib. So he says, Lo, thou trustest in the staff of this broken reed on Egypt, whereon if a man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to all that trust in him. So he's showing you how the situation back then modeled the situation now. Oh, it's fucking dope. But if thou say to me, we trust in the Lord our God, is it not he whose high places and whose altars Hezekiah hath taken away and said to Judah and to Jerusalem, you shall worship before this altar? Now therefore, give pledges, I pray thee, to my master, the king of Assyria, and I will give thee 2,000 horses, if thou be able on thy part to set riders upon them. How then wilt thou turn away the face of one captain of the least of my master's servants, and put thy trust on Egypt for chariots and for horsemen? And am I now come up without the Lord against this land to destroy it? The Lord said unto me, go up against this land and destroy it. Then Eliakim and Shebna and Joah unto Rabshakeh. Then said Eliakim, Shebna, and Joah unto Rabshakeh, speak, I pray thee, unto thy servants in the Syrian language, for we understand it, and speak not to us in the Jews' language, in the ears of the people that are on the wall. But Rabshakeh said, hath my master sent me to thy master, and to speak, and to thee to speak these words? Hath he not sent me to the men that sit upon the wall, that they may eat their own dung and drink their own piss with you? Then Rabshakeh stood and cried with a loud voice in the Jews' language, and said, hear ye the words of the great king, the king of Assyria. Thus saith the king, let not Hezekiah deceive you, for he shall not be able to deliver you. Neither let Hezekiah make you trust in the Lord, saying, the Lord will surely deliver us. So this guy, Rabshakeh, is trying to get them not to trust in God. This city shall not be delivered into the hand of the king of Assyria. Hearken not to Hezekiah, for thus saith the king of Assyria, make an agreement with me by a present, and come out to me, and eat you every one of his vine and every one of his fig tree, and drink you every one of the waters of his own cistern, until I come and take you away to a land like your own land, a land of corn and wine, a land of bread and vineyards. Beware lest Hezekiah persuade you, saying, the Lord will deliver us. Hath any of the gods of the nations delivered his land out of the hand of the king of Assyria? Where are the gods of Hamath and Arphad? Where are the gods of the Sepharvaim? And have they delivered Samaria out of my hand? Who are they among all the gods of these lands that have delivered their land out of my hand, that the Lord should deliver Jerusalem out of my hand? But they held their peace and answered him not a word. For the king's commandment was, saying, answer him not. So Hezekiah told him, don't answer him. Then came Eliakim, the son of Hilkiah, that was over the household, and Shebna the scribe, and Joah the son of Asaph the recorder, to Hezekiah with their clothes rent, and told him the words of Rabshakeh. And Hezekiah, he cries out to God. There's no king in Israel right now, though. They don't have that now. And there's a verse for that, which is how I know that's how you line up. I don't know how to explain it to you. It just is what it is. And it came to pass, when King Hezekiah heard it, that he rent his clothes and covered himself with sackcloth and went into the house of the Lord. And he sent Eliakim, who was over the household, and Shebna the scribe, and the elders of the priests covered with sackcloth unto Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amoz. So Hezekiah sent them to Amos, or sent them to Isaiah. And they said unto him, thus saith Hezekiah, this day is a day of trouble, and of rebuke, and of blasphemy, for the children are come to the birth, and there is not strength to bring forth. It may be the Lord thy God will hear the words of Rabshakeh, whom the king of Assyria his master has sent to reproach the living God, and will reprove the words which the Lord thy God hath heard. Wherefore lift up thy prayer for the remnant that is left. Ooh. Lift up thy prayer for the remnant that is left. So the servants of King Hezekiah came to Isaiah, and saith unto them, thus shall you say unto your master, thus saith the Lord, be not afraid of the words that thou hast heard, wherewith the servants of the king of Assyria have blasphemed me. Behold, I will send a blast upon him, and he shall hear a rumor, and return to his own land, and I will cause him to fall by the sword in his own land. So God tells Isaiah, tell him, this is what's going to go down. They don't got to do shit. It's just sit and wait. So Rabshakeh returned and found the king of Assyria warring against Libnah, for he had heard that he was departed from Lachish, And he heard say concerning Tirhakah. Okay. So Rebshakeh returned and found the king of Assyria warring against Libnah, which is what God told Isaiah would happen. He's going to turn back for a different reason. For he had heard that he was departed from Lachish. And he heard say concerning Tirhakah, king of Ethiopia, he is come forth to make war with thee. And when he heard it, he sent messengers to Hezekiah, saying, Thus shall you speak to Hezekiah, king of Judah, saying, Let not thy God, in whom thou trustest, deceive thee, saying, Jerusalem shall not be given into the hand of the king of Assyria. Behold, thou hast heard what the kings of Assyria have done to all lands by destroying them utterly, and shalt thou be delivered? Have the gods of the nations delivered them which my fathers have destroyed, as Gozan and Haran and Rezeph and the children of Eden which were in Telassar? Where is the king of Hamath and the king of Arphad and the king of the city of the Sepharvim, Henna and Iva? And Hezekiah received the letter from the hand of the messengers and read it. And Hezekiah went up into the house of the Lord and spread it before the Lord. And Hezekiah prayed unto the Lord, saying, O Lord of hosts, God of Israel, that dwellest between the cherubims, thou art God, even thou alone, of all the kingdoms of the earth. Thou hast made heaven and earth. Incline thine ear, O Lord, and hear. Open thine eyes, O Lord, and see, and hear all the words of Sennacherib, which hath sent to reproach the living God. Of a truth, Lord, the kings of Assyria have laid waste all the nations in their countries, and have cast their gods into the fire, for they were no gods, but the works of men's hands, wood and stone. Therefore have they destroyed them. Now therefore, O Lord our God, save us from his hand, that all kingdoms of the earth may know that thou art the Lord, even thou only. Then Isaiah the son of Amoz sent unto Hezekiah, saying, Thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, Whereas thou hast prayed to me against Sennacherib, king of Assyria, this is the word which the Lord hath spoken concerning him. The virgin, the daughter of Zion, hath despised thee, and laughed thee to scorn. The daughter of Jerusalem hath shaken her head at thee. Whom hast thou reproached and blasphemed? And against whom hast thou exalted thy voice, and lifted up thine eyes on high, even against the Holy One of Israel? Ooh. So I like this because this all ties back to that them adding sin to sin. Because who is it that these fake Jews, who are they reproaching? Who are they blaspheming when they do that? Who are they despising when they do that? When you, like, ask anybody, ask this question. Ask somebody if they sin, and when they say yes, ask them, who do you serve when you do that? Who are you serving? Because the Bible says, he that committeth sin is of the devil. So I like how he's using this to show, like, it's just a fucking straight backflip. So he's reminding them what he did for them, but then at the same time using it against them also, which is fucking, and it's using it against them now. The sword's going to be doubled that third time. I don't know if you guys are catching what I'm catching, but this is fucking cool. TT, whom hast thou reproached and blasphemed? And against, I have a really good tie for this. Really good fucking tie for this. Whom hast thou reproached and blasphemed? And against whom hast thou exalted thy voice and lifted up thine eyes on high, even against the Holy One of Israel? Now watch this. In Romans chapter 2, he tells Israel, right, the flesh Jews, fake ones, right? He says, for as many as do. This is right here. Boom. So watch this. He said, Behold, thou art called a Jew, and restest in the law, and makest thy boast of God, which they do, right? And knowest his will, and approves the things that are more excellent, being instructed out of the law. And art confident that thou thyself art a guide of the blind, and a light of them which are in darkness, an instructor of the foolish, a teacher of babes, which has a form of knowledge and of the truth in the law. They know. If you don't keep them, you're going to hell. They know. They fucking know. 21. Thou therefore which teachest another, teachest thou not thyself? Thou that preachest a man should not steal, do you steal? Thou that sayest a man should not commit adultery, dost thou commit adultery? Thou that abhorrest idols, dost thou commit sacrilege? This is the verse I want you to tie to here. Isaiah 37:23. Whom hast thou reproached and blasphemed? And against whom hast thou exalted thy voice and lifted up thine eyes on high? Even against the Holy One of Israel. And this is like the biggest right here. Thou that makest thy boast of the law, through breaking the law, dishonorest thou God? For the name of God is blasphemed among the Gentiles through you, as it is written. Watch right here. For circumcision verily profits, if you keep the law, but if you be a breaker of the law, thy circumcision is made uncircumcision. Yes. 23, 24, 25. Romans 2, 23 through 25. I would tie it right to here. Wow, that is perfect. By thy servants hast thou reproached the Lord, and has said. So like you've got Hezekiah, the king, right? Which Israel doesn't have a king right now. They don't. We're waiting on Jesus to come back and grab his, and then the 144,000 become the kings and the judges. Oh, it's so fucking perfect. So by thy servants hast thou reproached the Lord, and hast said, by the multitude of my chariots I am come up to the height of the mountains, to the sides of Lebanon, and I will cut down the tall cedars thereof, and the choice firs thereof, and I will enter into the height of his border, and the forest of his Carmel. I have digged and drunk water, and with the sole of my feet have I dried up all the rivers of the besieged places. Hast thou not heard long ago how I have done it, and of ancient times that I have formed it? Now have I brought it to pass, that thou shouldest be to lie waste defenced cities into ruinous heaps. Therefore their inhabitants were of small power. They were dismayed and confounded. They were as the grass of the field, and as a green herb, as the grass on the housetops, as the corn blasted before it be grown up. But I know thy abode, and thy going out, and thy coming in, and thy rage against me. Because thy rage against me, and thy tumult is come up into my ears. Therefore will I put my hook in thy nose, and my bridle in my lips, and I will turn thee back by the way which thou camest. And this shall be a sign unto thee. You shall eat this year such as groweth of itself, and the second year that which springeth up of the same. And in the third year sow ye and reap, and plant vineyards and eat fruit thereof. And the remnant that is escaped out of the house of Judah shall again take root downward and bear fruit upward. Holy fuck. Okay. And the remnant that is escaped of the house of Judah shall again take root downward and bear fruit upward. Check this out. Isaiah 37:31. Watch this. Ecclesiastes, the remnant that is escaped out of the house of Judah. Ecclesiastes 7:26. Check this out. And I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands is bands. That's the heathen building religious system, the fucking adulterous whore, whose heart is snares and nets, whose in her hands is bands. Whoso pleaseth God shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. Oh, it's just perfect. And the remnant that is escaped of the house of Judah shall again take root downward and bear fruit upward. For out of Jerusalem shall go forth a remnant, and they that escape out of Mount Zion, the zeal of the Lord of hosts shall do this. Therefore, thus saith the Lord concerning the king of Assyria, he shall not come into the city, nor shoot an arrow there, nor come before it with shields, nor cast a bank against it. By the way that he came, the same shall he return, and shall not come into the city, saith the Lord. For I will defend this city to save it for my own sake and for my servant David's sake. And the remnant. Then the angel of the Lord went forth and smote the camp of the Assyrians, 185,000. And when they arose early in the morning, behold, they were all dead corpses. So Sennacherib, king of Assyria, departed and went and returned and dwelt at Nineveh. And it came to pass, as he was worshipping in the house of Nishrash his god, that Adremelech and Sherazar, his sons, smote him with the sword, and they escaped into the land of Armenia, and Esarhaddon, his son, and Esarhaddon, his son, reigned in his stead. Damn. I like how he uses the story of what he did for Israel as part of why he's going to do what he's going to do to them. The same words that Hezekiah said, well, the same words that God gave Hezekiah right here. Where is it? The same words that he gave them to give is the same words that he's going to use against them. Whom hast thou reproached and blasphemed? And against whom hast thou exalted thy voice and lifted up thine eyes on high, even against the Holy One of Israel? That's fucking crazy. Isaiah 38. I do love this book. Isaiah 38, verse 1. In those days was Hezekiah sick unto death, And Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amoz, came unto him and said unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Set thine house in order, for thou shalt die, and not live. Then Hezekiah turned his face toward the wall and prayed unto the Lord, and said, Remember now, O Lord, I beseech thee, how I have walked before thee in truth, with a perfect heart. See that? With a perfect heart. Hezekiah was a believer. Hezekiah, who's my favorite? Ooh, drawing a blank. Whatever, I'll remember it when I need it. And said, Remember now, O Lord, I beseech thee. Asa. Asa was my favorite. That's my favorite, right? Like, I love David. I really do, but I liked Asa. Asa was perfect. It's all about, that's it. Right there. Shows you right there. Hezekiah was a believer. Then Hezekiah fucks it all up here, damn. And said, Remember now, O Lord, I beseech thee, how I have walked before thee in truth and with a perfect heart, and have done that which is good in thy sight. And Hezekiah wept sore. Then came the word of the Lord to Isaiah, saying, Go and say to Hezekiah, Thus saith the Lord, the God of David thy father, I have heard thy prayer, I have seen thy tears. Behold, I will add unto thy days 15 years, and I will deliver thee out of the city, and out of the hand of the king of Assyria, and I will defend this city. And this shall be a sign unto thee from the Lord. And the Lord will do this thing that he hath spoken. Behold, I will bring again the shadow of 10 degrees. Look at, behold, I will bring again the shadow of the degrees, which has gone down in the sundial of Ahaz, 10 degrees backwards. So there's a few things in the Bible that most people don't want to talk about. Daylight savings time. There it is. Right? That hour, that 10 degrees, there it is. Daylight savings time. That's why. Leap year, because he stopped the sun for Joshua for 24 hours. That's why we have an extra day. That's why the Gregorian calendar doesn't work the way it should. And that's why they have that extra day that they have to break up into every 4 years. You get an extra day. It's because he stopped the sun for Joshua. Like, this shit in this book that happened still affects today. And this shall be a sign unto thee from the Lord, that the Lord will do this thing that he hath spoken. Behold, I will bring again the shadow of the degrees, which has gone down in the sundial of Ahaz, 10 degrees backward. So the sun returned 10 degrees, by which degrees it was gone down. The writing of Hezekiah, king of Judah, when he had been sick, and was recovered of his sickness. I said, in the cutting off of my days, I shall go to the gates of the grave. I am deprived of the residue of my years. I said, I shall not see the Lord, even the Lord in the land of the living. I shall behold man no more with the inhabitants of this world. Mine age is departed, and is removed from me as a shepherd's tent. I have cut off like a weaver my life. He will cut me off with pining sickness. From day even to night wilt thou make an end of me. I reckon till morning, that as a lion, so will he break all my bones. From day even to night wilt thou make an end of me. Remember, this is Hezekiah talking about his prayer when he thought he was going to die. Like a crane or a swallow, so did I chatter. I did mourn as a dove. Mine eyes fail with looking upward. O Lord, I am oppressed. Undertake for me. What shall I say? He hath both spoken unto me, and himself hath done it. I shall go softly all my years in the bitterness of my soul. O Lord, by these things men live, and in all these things is the life of my spirit. So wilt thou recover me, and make me to live. Behold, for peace I had great bitterness, but thou hast in love to my soul delivered it from the pit of corruption. For thou hast cast all my sins behind thy back. Boom! Boom! There it is. How many? All. He said, I walk before you with a perfect heart. You've cast all my sins behind your back. That's what it is. For the grave cannot praise thee. Death cannot celebrate thee. They that go down into the pit cannot hope for thy truth. The living, he shall praise thee, as I do this day. The father to the children shall make known thy truth. The Lord was ready to save me. Therefore, we will sing my songs to the stringed instruments all the days of our life in the house of the Lord. For Isaiah had said, Let them take lumps of figs and lay it for a plaster upon the boil, and he shall recover. Hezekiah also had said, What is the sign that I shall go up into the house of the Lord? Isaiah 39. At that time, Merodach Baladan, that is, yes, the son of Baladan, king of Babylon, sent letters and a present to Hezekiah, for he had heard that he had been sick and was recovered. And Hezekiah was glad of them. Here's where he fucked up. And showed them the house of his precious things, the silver and the gold and the spices and the precious ointment, and all the house of his armor, and all that was found in his treasures. There was nothing in his house, nor in all his dominion, that Hezekiah showed them not. He didn't hold anything back from these people. And that's not, yeah, they're Babylonians, man. That's like fucking, it'd be like the king of Israel meeting with the fucking king of Iran and showing him everything. No, no. Then came Isaiah the prophet unto the king of Hezekiah. Then came Isaiah the prophet unto King Hezekiah, and said unto him, What sayest these men? What said these men? And from whence came they unto thee? And Hezekiah said, They are come from a far country unto me, even from Babylon. Then said he, What have they seen in thine house? So this is Isaiah talking to Hezekiah. He said, What have they seen in your house? And Hezekiah answered, All that is mine, all that is in mine house have they seen. There is nothing among my treasures that I have not showed them. Then said Isaiah to Hezekiah, Hear the word of the Lord of hosts. Behold, the days come that all that is in thine house, and that which thy fathers have laid up in store until this day, shall be carried to Babylon. Nothing shall be left, saith the Lord. And of thy sons that shall issue from thee, which thou shalt beget, shall they take away, and they shall be eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon. Eunuchs, that means their genitals are removed. So Isaiah is telling Hezekiah, hey, because you did that, this is what's going to happen. Your sons shall be eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon. Then said Hezekiah to Isaiah, Good is the word of the Lord which thou hast spoken. He knew. He said, moreover, for there shall be peace and truth in my days. So Hezekiah is like, at least for my days, they're good. Isaiah chapter 40. This is where this is going to start getting really good. So we've talked about a lot of prophecy, a lot of how he shows you, man. You just got to fucking read and reread and reread and reread and reread and reread the whole thing all the time. He's a jealous God. Isaiah 40 verse 1. Comfort ye, my people, saith your God. This is the 144,000. Those are his people. That's it. Speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem, and cry unto her that her warfare is accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned, for she hath received of the Lord's hand double for all her sins. It's already done. It's already decided. He's not going to go back on his word. That's how I know that I can sit here and tell you the things that are going to happen, and I know they're going to come to pass. For a fact. Like, I'm not like these other guys on YouTube that'll tell you something's going to happen and then it doesn't. I'm telling you something's going to happen and then it's gonna. That's where this channel is going to differ from every other channel. That's how I know that when you sin, you serve the devil. Just is what it is. The Bible doesn't lie. Speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem and cry unto her that her warfare is accomplished. You want it done. Over. That her iniquity is pardoned, for she hath received of the Lord's hand double for all her sins. And you know this from Revelation. Remember? Revelation chapter 18. He tells you, come out of her, my people. Stop trying to serve God the way they do. That's not how you serve God. Right here. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that you be not partaker of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works, in the cup which she hath filled to her double. That's that double. They get double. And if you still sin, you're going to take part in that wrath. So comfort ye, my people, saith your God. Speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem and cry unto her that her warfare is accomplished. We want it over. That her iniquity is pardoned, for she hath received of the Lord's hand double for all her sins. That's who it's talking about in Revelation. That's who it's talking about in Ezekiel 21 and 22. That is what this whole thing is going to be about at the end, is how he's going to get rid of the fake ones and place the real ones. The voice of him that crieth in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord, make straight the desert and the highway for our God. This right here was like prophecy for John the Baptist, okay? This is what John the Baptist cried. Him that crieth in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord, make straight in the desert a highway for our God. Let's leave the time for that. Isaiah 40. If I sat down and gave you every fucking note out of my book, these Bible studies would take us probably, I don't know, this one would be like 10 hours. No joke. 40 verse 3 goes to Luke chapter 3 verse 5. And to no, yeah, that's 4. No. Matthew chapter 3 and Luke chapter 3 verse 4. So I'll show you. And this also goes to cover what we talked about earlier, which I said we were going to talk about later. And we're going to, just to show you, Luke chapter 3 verse 4. As it is written in the book of the words of Esaias, that's Isaiah, the prophet, saying, the voice of the one crying in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord, make his path straight. Now, I'm going to show you this because we're going to get into it anyway. He said, every valley shall be filled, every mountain and hill shall be brought low. The crooked shall be made straight, and the rough ways shall be made smooth. He came here to reconcile all things. Those things that you think are sin, that you think are crooked, he made them straight. There is no sin. Sin doesn't exist. He reconciled all things for you. And if you reject it, if you will not submit to him and accept what he did and made you perfect, and he made everybody else perfect, if you will not accept that and line up with his book, then you reject him. So it's not, him reconciling you. He did it whether you believe it or not, but if you reject it, he's going to reject you. That's why you have to be converted. You have to be reborn. Could not be any clearer. And then he said, and all flesh shall see the salvation of God. Oh, and this is going to tie to here too. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 5. So right here, these three to Luke 3, verse 3 through 5, or 3 through 6. Well, 4 through 6. 4 through 6. Luke chapter 3, verse 4 through 6. Watch. As is written in the book of the words of Esaias, the prophet, saying, the voice of the one crying in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord, make his path straight. Every valley shall be filled, and every mountain and hill shall be brought low, and the crooked shall be made straight, and the rough ways shall be made smooth, and all flesh shall see the salvation of God. That's what's coming. Watch. The voice of him that crieth in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord, make straight the desert and the highway for our God. Every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill shall be made low. The crooked shall be made straight, and the rough places plain. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together, for the mouth of the Lord, it hath spoken it. The glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. When that happens, it's that moment in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, in that moment where the 144,000 will be changed into the new body. They'll be changed into light, just in front of everybody. The whole world's going to see it, and they're removed. And then shall that wicked be revealed. Remember, going back to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 8, right? Then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the power of his coming, so on and so forth. So, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken it. I do have a bunch. Let me see. Why wouldn't I do it there? Romans. There's a spot in Romans. I want to say it's Romans chapter 8. Yes. Okay. So Isaiah chapter 40, verse 5. I'm going to have you tie it to Romans chapter 8, because this is that moment. And 1 Corinthians 15, 51 and 52. Romans chapter 8. Verse 19. 8 verse 19, right here. So he said, for the earnest expectation of the creature, everybody, every human being walking this earth, right? All the atheists that say, I'll believe it when I see it, right? All the fucking everybody is waiting for this. Every human being walking this earth is waiting for this to find out who's legit and who's not. For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God, right? That manifestation of the sons of God is this right here. 1 Corinthians 15, 51 and 52. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16 also. 1 Corinthians 15, 51 and 52. Where the day star shall arise in our hearts. And that's exactly what it is. So he said, behold, I show you a mystery. There's that mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. That'll be that manifestation of the sons of God, the 144,000, even the ones that are dead. Boom, they'll be right there. Fucking balls of light. That's all it's gonna fucking be, man. The day star rises in our hearts. Let me find that verse. I like that. Day star. Arise in your heart. 2 Peter 1:19. There it is. So Romans chapter 8, verse 19 to 2 Peter 1:19. 2 Peter 1:19. Just to show you, because they all talk about it. It talks about it in every fucking major prophet. Talks about it in every prophet. I mean, this whole book, this is what it's talking about, is what salvation is. 1:19 right here. It's getting out of here before wrath, man. We have also a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto you do well that you take heed, as unto a light that shineth in a dark place, until the day dawn and the day star arise in your heart. That's that moment. Boom. It's just, you're going to burst, man. Change into a whole new thing. So Isaiah 40, verse 5 ties to all that, right? That's exactly what's going on here. That's exactly what he died for. And when that happens, the whole world's going to know they're fucked. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together, for the mouth of the Lord hath spoken it. He even said in Luke, the voice said, cry. And he said, what shall I cry? All flesh is as grass, and the goodliness thereof is as the flower of the field. The grass withereth, the flower fadeth, because the Spirit of the Lord bloweth upon it. Surely the people is grass. Everybody thinks they matter. You don't fucking matter. We don't fucking matter. You either line up with the book or you don't. The grass withereth, the flower fadeth, but the word of our God shall stand forever. Forever. O Zion, that bringest good tidings, get thee up into the high mountain. O Jerusalem, that bringest good tidings, lift up thy voice with strength. Lift it up. Be not afraid. Say unto the cities of Judah, behold your God. Preach. Behold, the Lord God will come with strong hand, and his arm shall rule for him. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. He shall feed his flock like a shepherd. He shall gather the lambs with his arm and carry them in his bosom, and he shall gently lead those that are young, that are with young. This is salvation, man. This is when he's going to take his 144,000. That's when he comes for his. Who hath measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, and meted out heavens with a span, and comprehended the dust of the earth in a measure, and weighed the mountains in scales, and the hills in a balance? Who hath directed the Spirit of the Lord, or being his counselor hath taught him? With whom took he counsel, and who instructed him, and taught him in the path of judgment, and taught him knowledge, and showed him the way of understanding? Behold, watch what he says here. The nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing. The nations are as a drop of a bucket. They don't fucking matter. They don't fucking. You either line up with the book or you're done. This I would tie to Daniel 4:35. So Isaiah chapter 40 verse 15 to Daniel chapter 4 verse 35. Daniel's a trip. Daniel's a trip. That'll be a fun one. Daniel chapter 4 verse 35. Right here. And all the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing. As nothing. And he doeth according to his will in the army of heaven and among the inhabitants of the earth, and none can stay his hand or say unto him, what doest thou? You can't question him. It's a done deal. It just says what it says. If you sin, you're of the devil. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very, very little thing. And Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beasts thereof sufficient for a burnt offering. All nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing and vanity. It's all pointless. All of it. The only thing you got to do is line up with the book. That's the only fucking thing. That's it. To whom then will you liken God? Or what likeness will you compare unto him? The workman melteth a graven image, and the goldsmith spreadeth it over with gold, and casteth silver chains. He that is so impoverished that he hath no oblation chooses a tree that will not rot. He seeketh unto him a cunning workman to prepare a graven image that shall not be moved. Have you not known? Have you not heard? Hath it not been told you from the beginning? Have you not understood from the foundations of the earth? It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers, that stretch out the heavens as a curtain, and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in. It is he that bringeth the princes to nothing. He maketh the judges of the earth as vanity. Yea, they shall not be planted. Yea, they shall not be sown. Yea, their stock shall not take root in the earth, and he shall also blow upon them, and they shall wither, and the whirlwind shall take them away as stubble. Tornadoes are your good example right there. Boom. What does a tornado do to a house? Does it care who's inside the house? Does it say, "Oh, nope, that guy's he's a police officer. I'm not going to blow out his fucking house." No. It doesn't. To whom then will you liken me, or shall I be equal, saith the Holy One? Lift up your eyes on high, and behold who hath created these things, that bringeth out their host by number. He calleth them all by names, by the greatness of his might, for that he is strong in power, not one faileth. Why sayest thou, O Jacob, and speakest, O Israel, my way is hid from the Lord, and my judgment is passed over from my God? Why do they do that? Why do you think you can still sin and be saved? What makes you fucking think that's going to work? It's not. Hast thou not known? Hast thou not heard that the everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is weary? There is no searching of his understanding. He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might he increases strength. Even the youths shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. Ooh, I love that one. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They're getting the fuck out of here. The redeemed are getting the fuck out of here, and they're coming back, and they're going to wreck shit. Isaiah 41. Keep silence before me, O islands, and let the people renew their strength. Let them come near. Let them speak. Let us come near together to judgment. Bruce keeps blowing up comments. If any of you genuinely have any questions, save them till the end. I'll open it up. Keep silence before me, O islands, and let the people renew their strength. Let them come near. Let them speak. Let us come near together to judgment. Let us come together to judgment. At the end of this, it's fine. Let us come together at the end of this for judgment. Who raised up the righteous man from the east, called him to his foot, gave the nations before him, and made him ruler over kings? He gave them as the dust to his sword, and has driven stubble to his bow. He pursued them and passed safely, even by the way that he had not gone with his feet. Hang on, I'm going to start this over. Keep silence before me, O islands, and let the people renew their strength. Right? Going back to the last chapter, where he said, you know, the ones that do will, the ones that wait on him will. Isaiah. Sorry. Where are we at? We're 41, so we're in 40. So the last verse down here. He said, but they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. The ones that wait upon the Lord, the ones that read, the ones that line up with the book, the ones that make sure, the ones that follow Jesus wherever the fuck he takes them. Doesn't matter. Keep silence before me, O islands, and let the people renew their strength. Let them come near and let them speak. Let them come near together to judgment. Who raised up the righteous man from the east, called him to his foot. Me. Okay, there it is. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm like, who the hell is he talking to? It's about him. Who raised up the righteous man from the east, called him to his foot, gave the nations before him, and made him ruler over kings. He gave them as the dust of the sword, and driven stubble to his bow. He pursued them and passed safely, even by the way that he had not gone with his feet. Who hath wrought and done it, calling the generations from the beginning? I, the Lord, the first, and with the last, I am he. The isles saw it and feared. The ends of the earth were afraid, drew near and came. They helped everyone his neighbor, and everyone said to his brother, be of good courage. So the carpenter encouraged the goldsmith. Ooh, this is good. This will fuck your head up right here. They helped everyone his neighbor, and everyone said to his brother, be of good courage. So the carpenter encouraged the goldsmith, and he that smootheth with the hammer him that smote the anvil, saying, it is ready for the soldering. And he fastened it with nails, that it should not be moved. But thou, Israel, art my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend. You got to remember, watch, the seed of Abraham. I'm going to show you some shit. Galatians chapter 3. Two things I want you to remember here. 1, verse 8. And a scripture foreseeing that God would justify the heathen through faith, preached before the gospel unto Abraham. So Abraham knew the gospel, saying, in thee shall all nations be blessed. Now down here, right here, he says, and if you be Christ's, if you belong to Christ, if you belong to God, then are you Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise. Not law, not according to how good you think you are. No, according to promise. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with what you do or don't do. He reconciled all things. If you call something sin, you're the seed of the devil. You know, I'm going to go there anyway. Because either you belong to God and you're Abraham's seed, or you belong to the devil. You can't belong to both. You can't play both sides, right? This isn't a fucking election. He that committeth sin is of the devil. For the devil sinneth from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of God was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil. If you sin, you're of the devil. Whosoever is born of God, which would be Abraham's seed through promise, right? The reborn, the ones that are converted like little children. Whosoever is born of God doth not commit sin, for his seed remaineth in him, and he cannot sin because he's born of God. In that difference, if you sin or you don't, in this the children of God are manifest, and the children of the devil. So if you still sin, then you're the seed of the devil. You are not the seed of Abraham. And that's what Romans chapter 2, 28 and 29 talks about, that for he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly, neither is that circumcision, which is in the flesh, but he is a Jew, which is one inwardly, and as of the circumcision of the heart, can't sin, reborn. In this the children of God are manifest, and the children of the devil. Whosoever doeth not righteousness is not of God, neither he that loveth not his brother. So, but thou, Israel, art my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend. Real believers. Thou, whom I have taken from the ends of the earth, and called thee from the chief men thereof, and said unto thee, Thou art my servant, I have chosen thee, and not cast thee away. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee, yea, I will help thee, yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. Behold, all they that were incensed against thee shall be ashamed and confounded. They shall be as nothing, and they that strive with thee shall perish. They that strive with thee shall perish. Keep arguing. Keep choosing to serve sin. Don't listen to me. You don't have to go. Fucking don't. I don't care. Do whatever you're going to do. Thou shalt seek them and shall not find them. Even them that contended with thee. They that war against thee shall be as nothing and as the thing of naught. Keep contending with me. That's cool. Keep choosing sin. I'll show you. I'm show you what happens. For I, the Lord thy God, will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, Fear not, I will help thee. Fear not thou worm Jacob, and you men of Israel, I will help thee, saith the Lord, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, saith the Lord, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. That's Jesus. Behold, I will make thee a new sharp threshing instrument, having teeth. Thou shalt thresh the mountains and beat them small, and shall make the hills as chaff. Why? Because the overcomer gets to rule the nations with a rod of iron. We went over that in the beginning of this. Thou shalt fan them, and the wind shall carry them away, and the whirlwind shall scatter them. And thou shalt rejoice in the Lord, and shalt glory in the Holy One of Israel. When the poor and needy seek water, and there is none, and their tongue faileth for thirst, I, the Lord, will hear them. I, the God of Israel, will not forsake them. I will open rivers in high places and fountains in the midst of the valleys. I will make the wilderness a pool of water, and dry land springs of water. I will plant in the wilderness the cedar, the shittim tree, and the myrtle, and the oil tree. I will set in the desert the fir tree, and the pine, and the box tree together, that they may see and know and consider and understand together that the hand of the Lord hath done this, and the Holy One of Israel hath created it. It's all salvation is going to be seen by all men. They're going to know what they lost. Produce your cause, saith the Lord. Bring forth your strong reasons, saith the King of Jacob. Let them bring them forth. Show us what shall happen. Let them show the former things what they be, and what that we may consider them and know the latter end of them, or declare us things for to come. All you people that still sin, right? Tell me what's going to happen next. Tell me what's going to happen next. Tell me what happened. Tell me about the old days. Tell me about Sodom and Gomorrah. Tell me about that. You can't. None of you can do what this book does. Show the things that are come hereafter. Show the things that are come hereafter, that we may know that you are God's. Yea, do good or do evil, that we may be dismayed and behold it together. Do good or do evil. Pick one. Look at that. I fucking love that so much. Show the things that are to come hereafter, that we may know that you are God's. Show me the things that are to come hereafter. You can't. I can show you. How come you can't show me? I can show you what's next. How come you can't show me? I love this book. Show the things that are to come hereafter, that we may know that you are God's. Yea, do good or do evil. Pick one, that we may be dismayed and behold it together. Pick one. If you sin, you serve the devil. You prove it. Let's be dismayed together. Let's be mad at yourself together. Let's get you saved. Behold, you are of nothing, and your work of naught. An abomination is he that chooses you. Ugh. I have raised up one from the north, and he shall come, and from the rising of the sun shall he call upon my name, and he shall come upon princes, and upon mortar, and as the potter treadeth clay. Who hath declared from the beginning, that we may know, and before time that we may say, he is righteous. Yea, there is none that showeth. Yea, there is none that declareth. Yea, there is none that heareth your words. The first shall say to Zion, Behold, behold them, and I will give to Jerusalem one that bringeth good tidings. For I beheld, and there was no man, even among them, and there was no counselor, that when I asked of them could answer a word. Behold, they are all vanity, and their works are nothing. Their molten images are wind and confusion. Isaiah 42. Behold my servant, whom I uphold, mine elect, in whom my soul delighteth. I have put my spirit upon him. He shall bring forth judgment to the Gentiles. It's Jesus. And all those that are of him are him. That's how that works. He's in us and we're in him. We abide in him. I abide in him. That's why this all works. He shall not cry, nor lift up, nor cause his voice to be heard in the street. A bruised reed shall he not break, and the smoking flax shall he not quench. He shall bring forth judgment unto truth. He shall not fail, nor be discouraged, till he have set judgment in the earth, and the isles shall wait for his law. Thus saith God the Lord, he that created the heavens and stretched them out, he that spread forth the earth and that which cometh out of it, he that giveth breath unto all the people upon it, and spirit to them that walk therein. I, the Lord, have called thee in righteousness, and will hold thine hand, and will keep thee, and give thee for a covenant of the people, for a light of the Gentiles, to open the blind eyes, to bring out the prisoners from the prison, and them that sit in darkness out of the prison house. I am the Lord, that is my name, and my glory will I not give to another, neither my praise to graven images. Behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. Ooh, look at that. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. Fucking beautiful. Sing unto the Lord a new song, and his praise from the end of the earth. You that go down to the sea, and all that is therein, the isles and the inhabitants thereof. Let the wilderness and the cities thereof lift up their voice, the villages that Kedar doth inhabit. Let the inhabitants of the rock sing. Let them shout from the top of the mountains. Let them give glory unto the Lord, and declare his praise in the islands. The Lord shall go forth as a mighty man. He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war. He shall cry, yea, roar, and he shall prevail against his enemies. He shall prevail against his enemies. Who are his enemies? Let me show you. Let me show you real specific. Real specific like. Real specific like. Hebrews 10:26. Right here. For if we sin willfully after that we have received, I love that word. For if we sin willfully after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins, but a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation, which shall devour the adversaries, enemies. So who are the enemies? The ones who sin. That's it. That's it. If you sin, you're his enemy. That's it. And you can either line up with the book, or you can play that sin, repent, repeat game for your whole life. It makes no difference to me. I know what I got. We sell that here for free. It costs you nothing. You just got to open up a book. You got to shut up. You got to listen. You got to go verse by verse, and then you got to read. You got to really read. You got to put in your effort. You got to put a fucking A+ for effort every day. That's what it should be. Forgetting those things which are behind and reaching to those things which are ahead. The Lord shall go forth as a mighty man. He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war. He shall cry, yea, roar. He shall prevail against his enemies. I have long time holden my peace. I have been still and refrained myself. Now will I cry like a travailing woman. I will destroy and devour at once. I will make waste mountains and hills and dry up all their herbs. And I will make the rivers islands, and I will dry up the pools. And I will bring the blind by a way that they knew not. I will lead them in paths that they have not known. Watch this. I will make darkness light before them, and crooked things straight. There it is. That's what Jesus died for. He died to make all the things that you think are crooked. He made them straight. He reconciled all things. He created all things. He reconciled all things. There is no sin. Sin doesn't exist. The people that still teach you that you can sin, they're fucking of the devil. They are fucking liars, rotten ass, nasty wolves, vipers, hypocrites. Stop listening to these other fucks. Pick up the book. And I will bring the blind by a way that they knew not, and I will lead them in paths that they have not known. I will make darkness light before them. and crooked things straight. Everything is light for me. The people that know the truth, to them, everything is fucking light. They wake up every day happy as fuck. They go to bed happy as fuck. The world could be falling apart, and it is. And they are still happy as fuck. They know the truth. They thank him for everything and every minute of every day. And they'll preach it. It doesn't matter where, who, to when, how. They just do. They listen. And they learn from the best. And I'll bring the blind by a way that they knew not, and I will lead them in paths that they have not known. I will make darkness light before them and crooked things straight. Which goes back to, hang on. Which goes back to Luke. Right? That's where we were for that. And see, this is why I should be writing these things down as I do this. Whatever. So let's go to, real quick, that crooked thing straight. That's a big fucking deal. It's a big fucking deal. There's Luke 3, 3, and 4, right? Right here, because he told you he was going to do it here too. And the crooked shall be made straight. Boom. The crooked shall be made straight. It's the whole book. It's the whole book. And we talked about it earlier in Isaiah. I forgot where, so I'll go back later and maybe that'll be the comment. That'll be the pinned comment. That's oof. Look at that. Tim V, you got pinned comment on this one twice. No, it won't be this one, it'll be the first one. Or it'll be Luke 3:3, one or the other. But either way, the crooked things were made straight on the cross. These things will I do unto them and not forsake them. They shall be turned back. They shall be greatly ashamed that trust in graven images, that say to molten images, you are gods. You go to the fucking heathen building and you see a painting of Jesus on the wall and you fucking do one of these fucking weird things in front of it because you think the painting can fucking talk? You think the painting can answer your prayers? You think the cross, you think the rosary you hang from the rearview mirror in your car is going to fucking save you? You think that piece of plastic's going to do something? Get the fuck out of here, man. Be ashamed. Hear ye deaf and look, you blind, that you may see. Who is blind but my servant? Or deaf is my messenger that I sent? Who is blind is he that is perfect, and blind is the Lord's servant. It's the idea. Oh, remember, hide your eyes from evil. That's what it was. They hide their eyes from evil. Let me see if I can find it here. Hide. Hidden their eyes. Where is it? Nope. So it's the verse in Isaiah where he said they hide their eyes from evil. We went over it earlier. That's the one. You gotta be blind, right? That's it. Be blind to the evil. There's a verse. Hang on. There's another really good one. Because thou sayest, no. Therefore, your sin remaineth. John 9:41. That's the one. John 9:41. Watch this. Jesus' words are the best way all the time. It's the best way. He just means what he says. Very cryptic. Fucking cool. I don't even. Whew. Right here. Jesus said unto them, if you were blind, you should have no sin. But now you say, we see, therefore your sin remains. You think you sin. You say you sin. You think you know the difference between good and evil, so you still stay stuck in sin. You think you know better than God. You think you can turn your back on God. You think you can turn your back on the book. Cool, your sin remains. It's that simple. Right there. Who is blind as he that is perfect? That's it. No knowledge of good and evil. Can't see that shit. Don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Nope. No judge. Seeing many things, but thou observest not. Opening the ears, but heareth not. Hear ye deaf and look, you blind, that you may see. Who is blind but my servant, or deaf as my messenger that I sent? Who is blind as he that is perfect, and blind is the Lord's servant? To serve him, you have to be blind. Seeing many things, but thou observest not. Opening the ears, but he heareth not. The Lord is well pleased for his righteousness' sake. He will magnify the law and make it honorable. But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none delivereth, for a spoil, and none saith, Restore. Who among you will give ear to this? Who among you will listen? Who will hearken and hear from the time to come? Who's going to listen? Who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to the robbers? Did not the Lord? That's what's coming. He against whom we have sinned. He against whom we have sinned. For they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his law. The flesh Jews, they don't walk in his ways. They're not obedient to his law. He's going to fucking wreck them. Therefore, he hath poured upon him the fury of his anger and the strength of battle, and it hath set him on fire round about, surrounded. Yet he knew not, and it burned him, yet he laid it not to heart. They refused to listen. They refused to listen. They killed Jesus. Uh-oh. So I'm going to wrap this here, right? We got from 30 to 42. I'm going to wrap this up here. I did say I'd answer questions at the end. If you have questions, now would be the time. You're more than welcome to ask them. If you're watching this as part of the, whatever you call it, the series, and you're just going on, you can stop it here. You're not missing nothing. I salute the brethren. Have a nice day. But as far as opening it up and answering questions, I'm all for it. I'll even post this, and if nobody's going to take it, I'll give it about a minute. If nobody's going to answer to it, if you guys don't have questions and you don't want to come up here and discuss it, then adios. And it'll be that. EJ, there's nothing you can do. You can't argue with it. You're not going to argue it. All you're doing is making excuses for yourself over and over and over and over. Excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse. It's really simple. The knowledge of good and evil doesn't exist because of Jesus. And if you choose to continue to live in that, then your sin remains. Whether you believe in it or not, you're going to be judged by it. So either submit, because that's what it is. I don't have to convince you, right? You either submit or you're done. That's how this works. There's no negotiation. Hell, yeah, hell's real. The Bible clearly states so. I go by the book. If it lines up with the book, then that's what we go by. Did the wicked turn from his way? Sin no more. Yep. I don't know who that is trying to kill us, but it's a good verse. It's the truth. And if somebody still sins, then they didn't turn from their way. Then they're still the devil. Sin doesn't exist, man. That's why it is the way it is. Either submit or you're fucked. Either bow that he is king and paid for it all, and that's it, and everybody's perfect, or you're done. You got to line up with the book. You got to read. That's part of belief. So if you're going to put your faith into it, if you're going to trust him, you got to learn who he is. You got to read. It's part of it. If you don't, you're just going to fall backward. You're going to end up getting hung up on something else, and you're not even going to realize it. That's why it's so imperative that you learn the book. You got to learn the whole thing. Can't just pick and choose. Can't just read a chapter a day. It's not going to work. He has no pleasure in the death of the wicked. They choose it, though. So they're going to be held with it. You also have no judgment without mercy. Remember that? Here. There's a good verse to go with that. And that's 1 John 2, I think. He will have judgment without. Where is it? Why is it not coming up? Mercy rejoices against judgment. It's James. Let me see. Against judgment. James 2:13. Okay, maybe that's the one I'm thinking of. Sometimes Bible Hub can't even fucking. Here it is. For he shall have judgment. See, there. Why wouldn't it just pull this up? For he shall have judgment without mercy that showed no mercy, and mercy rejoices against judgment. If you don't forgive everybody for everything, you're not forgiven. That's it. Matthew chapter 6, verse 14 and 15. Jesus tells you himself right here to clarify. He said, for if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will forgive you. But if you forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive you trespasses. If you look at somebody and you're like, oh, you do that, so you can't be saved, right? Or if you, like the people in the churches, right? That's what they do. That's why nobody wants to go, right? They only go when they fucking hit the end of their brick, when they hit that fucking brick wall. That's the only time they go. And they don't even want to go then because they know as soon as they walk in, everybody's going to have judgment. Everybody's going to be looking at them and going, oh, you got to quit this and you got to quit that and you got to quit this. They're judging. They're calling it sin. They call those things sin. Their crooked is not made straight. And so when they say that you're a sinner, when they call you a sinner, then they're fucking condemning you because he that sins is of the devil. So they're of the devil. So then they condemn you and make you feel like you're of the fucking devil. And then you call it the Holy Spirit and you think you're saved. It's just not, no. That's in Psalms. That's in Psalms. And I actually I have a really good verse. I found it to be pretty, hang on. I posted it last night in the sealed. Or was it in the sealed? Found a really good verse on that. About their children going to hell. Micah 2:9. Micah 2:9 was really good. About children. And yes, children go to hell. If you're not converted, if you're not reborn, then you're not saved. It starts at conception. Starts at conception. Right here. Micah chapter 2, verse 9. The woman of my people have you cast out from their pleasant houses. He's talking to Israel. Like, we'll get into this here. So, prophesy you not, say to them that prophesy, they shall not prophesy to them, they shall not take shame. O thou art the name of the house of Jacob. Is this the spirit of the Lord? Is the spirit of the Lord straightened? Are these his doings? Do not my words do good to him that walketh uprightly? So you know that he's talking to flesh Jews here, right? Because he's like, is the spirit of the Lord straightened? Do you really think you're going to get away with breaking the law over and over and over and over and over? Are these his doings? Do not my words do good to him that walketh uprightly? Even of late, my people is risen up as an enemy. Why? Because they still sin. They still sin. You pull off the robe with the garment from them that pass by. That's exactly what we're talking about. When you walk into a heathen building and they look at you and they tell you, oh, you got to quit drinking, you got to quit smoking, you got to quit doing this, you got to quit doing this. They're yanking your robe off and making you feel ashamed. They're making you feel ashamed. That's what they do. Even of late, my people is risen up as an enemy. You pull off the robe with the garment from them that pass by securely as men averse from war. The woman of my people have you cast out from their pleasant houses. Now watch what he says. From their children have you taken away my glory for how long? Forever. So they keep teaching people to sin, repent, repeat, keep teaching people that they got to keep these laws that they can't, right? That Jesus died to be a propitiation for. And at the end of the day, the people that fall for this bullshit, they're taking away the fucking glory from the glory of God from your children forever. Means exactly what it means. Means exactly what it says. Yeah. I can't wait for that day where everybody's got to wake the fuck up. Oh, hell yeah. There's going to be all kinds of shit going on. It means exactly what it says. Yes, absolutely. The dashes thy children, dashes thy little ones against the stone. Dashes. Psalm 137, verse 9. We'll just go over the whole chapter. I love Psalms. And that's when I get off here, that's what I'm going back to go do. Psalm 137, verse 9. Right here. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down, yea, we wept, and when we remembered Zion. We hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof. For there they that carried us away captive required us of a song, and they that wasted us required us of mirth, saying, sing us one of the songs of Zion. How shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, man, I'm fucking not comfy. If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, race it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed. Happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. Yes, the 144,000 are going to be very happy to do so. Yes, because that's how they treat us. That's how sinners treat us. They treat us like shit everywhere we go. Yeah. Yeah, it means exactly what it says. Happy shall he be that taketh and dashes thy little ones against the stone. And the daughter of Babylon is what you see right now as Israel. Because they were taken into Babylon. And when they were in Babylon, they learned the ways of the people there and then brought it back to Israel. Then got taken over by Rome, went to Rome, learned the ways of the people there, and then brought it back to Israel today. It's daughter of Babylon. Yes. Yes, trying to kill us. Yes. So you were going to dash babies up. Yep, like physically smash babies. Yep. Yep. That's what's coming. Yeah. Yeah. What's the difference? I mean, why are you looking at me like that's bad? Are you do you support abortion? I mean, you fucking bash your own kids against the stones, right? All you fucking people, like you bash yourself against every time you sin, you turn your back on God, you're doing it to yourself. It has nothing to do with me. It's just him, right? We get judgment. Fucking judgment. Wake up. Hell is everlasting fire. Right here. Matthew 18. Where is it? Hang on, let me check something. I want to make sure I'm just accurate. I don't want to spend all day looking for it. Matthew 18:8. Okay, right here. Wherefore, if thy hand or thy foot offend thee, if your hand or your foot causes you to sin, cut them off and cast them from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life halted or maimed, rather than having 2 hands or 2 feet to be cast into everlasting fire. That's what it is. It's not a joke. None of this is a joke. You guys can play and keep fucking thinking it's, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily. Therefore, the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. Sentence against an evil work. Ecclesiastes 8:11. By far my favorite verse for people that mock. You can mock it. Keep mocking it all you want. But at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to lose, not me. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily. Therefore, the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. You keep serving sin because you don't drop dead right now. Hell is in the Old Testament too. Yeah. Absolutely. It's all over the fucking book. Yes. What do we got? We got right here. Isaiah 5:14. One of my favorite verses. Therefore, hell hath enlarged herself. Right here. Right there. Therefore, hell hath enlarged herself and opened her mouth without measure, and their glory and their multitude and their pomp, and he that rejoices shall descend into it. And the mean man shall be brought down, and the mighty man shall be humbled, and the eyes of the lofty shall be humbled. For the Lord of hosts shall be exalted in judgment. There's that judgment, and God that is holy shall be sanctified in righteousness. Right here, Isaiah 5:14, right there. Doop. That's it. Very simple. Very easy. Very, very easy. And there's fucking tons of them. Hang on, let me see. Let me see what I have written down in here. Isaiah 5:14. No, it's good. Oh, I do have 18:8. Matthew 18:8. Cool. Yeah, no, that's it. That's what I got. 2:17. No. 2:17. Isaiah 2:17 say. Just out of curiosity. And the loftiness of man shall be bowed down, and the haughtiness of men shall be made low, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. Yep. As hell. I mean, how do you describe hell? What is hell? God takes no pleasure in the destruction of the wicked. Listen, dude, he takes no pleasure in the destruction of the wicked. But they're going to be destroyed. It's going to happen. And happy shall the man be that gets to do it, because that man will be saved. Yeah, of course he's going to be happy to do it. It's judgment. It's what it is. It's judgment. You can keep serving sin all you want. Go ahead. Makes no difference to me. How do I describe hell? Fire. Everlasting fire. Everlasting fire. In fact, let's see. I wonder how many verses would come up for it. Matthew. There's some in Psalms that describe it. I just have to find it. Let me see something. Got a lot of notes. Where is it? Just gotta find where I wrote it down. Give me a second. Hang on. Conscience torment. Yeah, permanently. Can you turn on the light real quick? Ooh, that's bright. I'm looking for, I have specific notes on exactly this about hell being real. That's Luke 16, 23, and 24. But you hear about it all the time. All the curses of this book coming on them. I mean, it's not like it's some big mystery. Yes, hell's real. Bible talks about it all the time. All I need is one verse, and that's it. It's done. 23, 24. And I gave you the one, 23. And in hell, Psalm 9:17. There we go. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Psalm 9:17. Yeah. There it is. Boom. The wicked shall be turned into hell, and all nations that forget God. That's it. And hell is everlasting fire. That's exactly what it is. Torment forever. Yeah, it changes colors. Can you shut off the light? Thank you. Yeah. Say it's all over. You just got to read. Sit down and read your Bible. How about that? Just go read Psalms. Go read Psalms. Sit down and actually read it instead of doing, a little bit here, a little bit there, flipping through pages 1,000 times. Sit down and actually read straight through the fucking book. Read it. Read slow. He talks about it all the time. All the time. That's it. It just is what it is. Yeah, hell's gonna be worse than ripping out your eyeballs and you're cutting off your own arm and leg. Yep, hell's gonna be worse than that. And it's permanent. You're never coming out of it. So you can keep serving sin. Go ahead. Keep serving sin. You know the consequence. You know the fucking consequences. If you don't line up with the book, you know the consequence. Keep rejecting it. That's your choice. That's free will right there. You have a choice. Line up with the book or don't. If you don't expect him to fucking That's it. Point blank. Don't expect him to have mercy in that day. It's not going to happen. I just showed you. He will have judgment without mercy. You have now. You get now. If you don't figure it out by the time you die, then you fuck yourself. You commit the sin unto death. That is what sin unto death. That's what it is. Sin unto death. Watch this. Most people never catch this. And it's not really fair for me to say because I don't expect them to. Unto definition. What is the definition of unto? Until. That's what the definition of unto is. Very simple, right? And then you've got 1 John chapter 5, verse 16. I mean, he talks about it all throughout the Bible, but there's only 2 verses that actually mention it as sin unto death, and it's 1 John 5:16 and Romans chapter 6, verse 16, right here. He said, if any man see his brother sin a sin which is not unto death, he shall ask, and he shall give him life for them that sin not unto death. That means that they have to choose to not sin till they die. There is a sin unto death. There is a sin unto death. I do not say, though he shall pray for it. That sin unto death is rejecting Christ. To choose to sin until death, until you die. That is the sin unto death. I do not say that he shall pray for it. All unrighteousness is sin, and there is a sin not unto death. And that sin not unto death is the last one that you commit before you get saved. And then he confirms what I've been preaching for 3 years. We know that whosoever is born of God sinneth not. But he that is begotten of God keepeth himself, and the wicked one touches him not. If you still sin, it's because the wicked one still touches you. It's because you're still filled with that unclean spirit. You still serve that unclean spirit. That's it. Oh, I'd have to fucking go through so many hoops to do that, dude. Post the video of Alan. Oh, you know what? Yeah, it goes with this, doesn't it? Hang on. Let me go through the hoops. Son of a bitch. 222. Where'd it go? Oh, no, I'm in the wrong thing. The sealed. Now I gotta download it. Right here. This guy. This is sad. This is so fucking sad. Because people will follow this guy. And then at the end of the day, they're done. They're done. And he don't care. None of these fucking people care about you at all. That's what makes me sick. It makes me sick to my fucking stomach. I've got no problem getting up here, making myself look like a damn fool, which I'm not. I know. The Bible backs me up on everything I say. Everything that comes out of my mouth lines up flawlessly with this book. I made sure my whole life lines up perfectly with this book so I could be a faithful witness for you guys. But somebody like this is just, ugh, it's disgusting. It's fucking disgusting. They don't care. Downloads. Hang on, I'm uploading it. Open. Give it a minute. Apologize. So Job, who is Nevin in the comments, he called in, had the lady ask this question about sinning till you die, and watch what this guy says. It should make you appalled. Appalled.
Dude, but
if you sin until you die, wouldn't that be sin unto death?
not necessarily.
Want to watch?
Dude, but
if you sin until you die, wouldn't that be sin unto death?
not necessarily.
If you sin until you die, would that be sin unto death? He says, not necessarily. Motherfucking asshole. He lies. These people lie to you. Hang on, where are we? Read your Bible. That's the steps, EJ. Read and believe. Submit. That's it. You can have your phone call now. I know you didn't. I know you can't succeed in that bet, which just proves the Bible right even more. We'll talk about it. You can have your phone call now. Reach out to me in the comments or Skype. Just get Skype. Get Skype. Skype me. It's not hard. It's the same thing. Same exact thing. Get Skype. Hit me up in the comments. I'll even post it. Here's my Skype name. Right there. The whole thing. Live, semicolon, Perry Green 31. That's my Skype name. Get on Skype, message me, and then we'll set up and we can do an audio call or a video. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. You can have your phone call. Make sure you have a Bible or something other electronic that you can look up verses on and read from, because that's it. That's the phone call. You're going to read verses. That's it. I'm going to give you verses. You're going to read them. That's how this works. That's it. You got to submit, man. Or girl. I don't know. I don't know what you are. I don't, so it's fair. You still need a mic for Skype. Right, but how are you going to do a phone call? Well, hit me up on Skype and I'll send you my phone number. We can just do it that way. I don't have a problem with that at all. I really don't. But at the end of the day, I mean, that's it. Yeah, just read. Trust him. Trust him blindly. Choose to trust him. Not a matter of being convinced. Choose to trust him. That's what belief is. Belief is going against something, like you're like Abraham, right? Abraham went against hope. This is the perfect example I can give to you. Abraham went against hope to believe in hope. Where is it? Against hope, believe in hope. Romans 4:18. Okay. Romans 4:18. Google Voice. Okay, well, I'll give you my phone number. You can just call me from Google Voice. I don't care. None of that. None of that. I don't care how you do it. I'll just give you my phone number. You call it. How was it then reckoned? When he was in circumcision or uncircumcision? Wait, where'd it go? You know what? Romans 4 is good anyway. Should be. No. 4:15, wasn't it? No. Why is it not where I thought it was? And against hope. 4:18. Okay, it is here. Right down here. So this is right here about Abraham, okay? So therefore it is of faith that it might be by grace. It is of faith, not being convinced, not a physical evidence of, not the necessity of. I can give you a shit ton of it if you want it, though. I really can. I have a shit ton of it. They just found Joshua's altar too on top of Mount Elam, or I forget. Yeah, Elon, Mount Elon. They just found Joshua's altar. So therefore it is of faith that it might be by grace, to the end the promise might be sure to all the seed, not to that only which is of the law, but also to that which is of the faith of Abraham, who is the father of us all. Notice how it separates those who are of the law and those who are of the faith of Abraham. So it separates Abraham from the law. It's a whole different ballgame. As it is written, I have made thee a father of many nations, before him whom he believed, even God, who quickeneth the dead, and calleth those things which be not as though they were. He makes the crooked straight. Who against hope believed in hope. He had to go against what his body told him. He had to go against what his beliefs were. He had to go against himself to believe in hope, that he might become the father of many nations, according to that which was spoken, so shall thy seed be. He had to go against hope to believe in hope. You have to go against yourself in full. You have to deny yourself in full. That's what faith really is. EJ, you're actually a perfect candidate for this at the end of the day. There is no convincing you. You got to choose to believe it. That makes perfect sense, trying to kill us. I don't even care. I would post it. I really don't give a shit. I'll post my phone number. Do you want my phone number? Here, I'm fucking using it. 40. I think it's 353-4718. I don't know. I don't know. Me and my wife have two different. I just turned on my phone. We've been sharing a phone for the last 5 years. I just turned on my phone, so I don't know my number. Get a hold of me on Skype or hit me up in the comments and I'll send it to you. I don't know what else to tell you. And I don't care about being harassed. At the end of the day, people can harass me all they want. If they sin again, they're of the devil. And if they keep harassing me, they just prove who they serve over and over and over and over. Eventually, there's nothing anybody can do. The truth is the truth, and it's going to stay the truth no matter what anybody does to me. It's not going to change. It's not going anywhere. Yeah, that's fine. Works for me. So, I mean, other than that, can't earn it, but you can lose. If you turn your back on it, you turn your back on it. Trying to kill us. If you turn your back to it, you turn your back to it. That's it. It's to the faithful brethren. It's not to the unfaithful. That's the beauty of it. It's for the faithful, not for the unfaithful. You either line up or you don't. Right? All the saints. And to the faithful brethren. Faithful. The faithful. Oh, I like that. It's even got fucking Psalms in there. To the faithful. But that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the one, I think it's Colossians. The faithful. Why is it not coming up, damn it? It's going to do it to me again. Colossians. Right here. Ah, there it is. To the saints and faithful brethren in Christ, which are at Colossus. Yeah, either you're faithful or you're not. If you turn your back on it, the man that puts his hand to the plow looking back is not fit for the kingdom of God. Looking back, 962. Luke 962. Another one of my favorite ones. I'm glad I get to use this. Luke 962. Right there. And Jesus answered, and Jesus said unto him, no man, having put his hand to the plow and looking back, is fit for the kingdom of God. That's it. It's not going to happen. You get cast out on a dunghill, and that's where they stay. It's not an interpretation, EJ. That's the problem. You keep thinking I'm interpreting it. I don't interpret it. It just means what it says. Each word, going by the definition, dictionary definition of each word, just means what it says. Sin unto death, sin until death. Means what it says. Whoever commits sin is the servant of sin. Can't fuck that one up. It means exactly what it says. Period. To him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it is sin. So if you know to do good and you do not, then to you that's sin. Whether you believe in it or not, it doesn't make a difference. You're going to be judged by it. You can choose to reject it. You can choose to turn your back on it. You can choose to not believe in it. But at the end of the day, if you don't line up with it, you're fucked. I do know the Quran. I know the Quran like I know the Bible. I know the Quran the same thing. I preach the Quran on this channel. I preach Jesus from the Quran on this channel. Look it up. It's called the Faith of Abraham. I preach the Quran on this channel. I've preached the Quran to Muslims. They ignore their own book. I know their own book better than they do. They ignore their own book. And that book just points you to this book. They all point to this book. Just like all languages point to Israel, right? Chinese people, they write from your view, maybe. Hang on. Whatever. You get the idea. Americans write from left to right. Chinese people write from right to left. All fucking languages point to Israel. Everything points to him. Everything points to him. Everywhere you go, he's there. Everywhere. Everything you do, he's there. He's watching. He that formed the eye and created the ear. You think he can't see through your eyes and hear through your ears? You think he doesn't know what the fuck you're doing? He's everywhere, in all things, all the time, in control of everything. Not even a bird hits the ground without God knowing about it. So it just is what it is. Either they line up or they don't. Either they speak according to the word or there's no light in them. It's one or the other. You cannot be both. All right, so it's been 3 hours. I'm gonna wrap it here. I love you guys. Nobody's coming up here, and quite frankly, I'm good with that. Let me figure out end my share screen. Here we go. Oh shit! Wow. So anyway, thank you all. This is good. This is good. Isaiah's fucking awesome, and you're seeing it play out in the world now. And like I'm telling you, there was that moment when God used that verse, and he's using the same thing on them, which is what's crazy. Thou that makest thy boast of the law, through breaking the law, dishonorest thou God? Yeah. Every time somebody sins, they serve the devil. If you sin, you serve the devil. Jesus said so. Whoever commits sin is a servant of sin. If you don't line up with the book, then you don't line up. If you don't line up, you're not going nowhere. So, love y'all. I salute the brethren. Thank you, Brunette. And we'll get back to this as soon as possible. EJ, I'll drop my phone number as soon as I go to the bathroom. You're free to call tonight. I'll probably be up all night. You're free to call tonight if you want. I don't care. But I definitely, this is what it is. It just is what it is. There is no excuse that's going to be good enough that's going to excuse you from having to submit ever. It's never going to happen. It's not negotiable. It's a one-way street, his way or the wide road. That's it. Either you line up or you don't. I love y'all. I salute the brethren. Adios. It's not confusing trying to kill us. It's not confusing at all. If you sin, you're of the devil. If you don't line up, you don't line up. Figure it out. Adios.